It's the Grumpy Papa JoeJoe. What's going on? It's time for the cup of JoeJoe. I don't know how many years it's been that I've done this. I've really missed it, uh, and I just wanna. I don't know. I've had a rough couple of few months, but I've had a rough couple weeks lately. But I'm hanging in there as I always do. I told my wife I just wanted to kind of get on the get back on the wagon or get back on the horse, as they say, and get back to talking about you know having a cup of JoeJoe. A great friend of mine, Dragon, named my wife's best friend. We were talking about doing this. I remember talking about doing this a few years ago, uh, and she came up with I was talking about doing chat. Just doing the chat. And I didn't know what to call it, and she came up with cup of JoeJoe, and I was gonna call it just a cup of Joe or a cup of I don't know. I didn't know what I was gonna do, and then she's the one that came. Hey, call it a cup of JoeJoe. Waking up to a cup of JoeJoe or having a cup of JoeJoe. And I said, you know what? That's it. That's what we're gonna do. So I'm back. I'm gonna try to. Huh?
I don't hear you.
Hold on.
Is the mic be?
I don't know. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I don't know if y'all can hear me. We're
Tap the mic.
uh, I don't know if y'all can hear me. My wife's trying to figure it out. Maybe we're trying to see if she can hear me, or it's trying to, as always, always trying to figure things out. But I don't know if y'all can see me. I mean, I'm sure y'all can see me. I don't know if y'all can hear me.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, now she can hear me. Anyway, I'm here. Like I said, I haven't done this in a long time. I had I have some great friends from the UK, New York, uh, of course, in Texas. I got some fishing buddies that 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 come on during the daytime. Of course, right now it's 11:48 p.m. almost midnight here, Central Time. But I will say most of y'all will know me as a clean cut. I had a you can see I got long hair now. I had a clean cut, crew cut, uh, high and tight military style cut, haircut. I'm in my bedroom right now. I normally do it in the living room. Just finished playing Fallout 76. Just kind of doing my fishing. There's a lot of fishing in there now, so I do fishing there. I've been watching my wife play Disney. She's gonna get on and start playing. What is that? Hello Kitty
Hello Kitty
Islands
Island Adventure.
Adventure. Um, I just it's been a long time. I'm kind of stumbling here, but at the same time, I've been I've been since I've last seen y'all, or since I don't see y'all, but since I've last talked to y'all, or I've last had a cup of JoeJoe, it's been, like I said, it's been about, let's see, it's been 3 years that my sister passed, my youngest sister. I had another sister pass just in December of last year. Uh, I had my father-in-law passed in August. It's going to be a year now, and I had another uncle and a cousin pass after that. I had another cousin pass. I've had three cousins pass from there on my side. A cousin on my wife's side passed, and an uncle. So yeah, it's been a pretty tough year for us. I mean, to say the least. But for me, it's been tough personally. I mean, I've been I've been diagnosed with vertigo. It's some kind of uh, uh, something to do with my with the balance. Uh, I see spinning a lot. I've fallen down a few times already. Uh, I've also gotten diagnosed with uh, my my sinuses. I'm gonna have surgery on the 16th of this month. Hopefully to open up all my sinuses. They're gonna do some surgery, put a balloon in there, and open up all my sinuses. That's another thing. Everything's been a domino effect lately. With the vertigo, I've been going through therapy, try with for vertigo. It's just doing, you know, exercises where your mind just they make it spin even more. They're trying to get me used to it, um, which it helps some, but when I get home, it comes back and I have a harsh day. Uh, uh, let's see. I went a couple of days ago. Did go to. I had to go to my cardiologist to get my okay to have this surgery on the 16th, and come to find out, when they did my blood work and they did an EKG, they also had to do a chest X-ray. Well, they did a chest X-ray, and you know, as everything else, like I said, became a domino effect of things that were happening. They found out that I have two mass on my right lung. Uh, they gave me the okay to do the surgery, but now I'm gonna have to get a CAT scan uh, in the middle of August because they want me to get the surgery for the nose, and then they're giving me about a month, about half a month. What is it, on the 16th, and then on the 18th of August, about a month later, I gotta get that CAT scan where they're gonna go in, and it's I guess with dye and find out what's going on with my right lung. Uh, they figured out that I've had those masks in there for a while, but we've also figured out that's why I'm so tired all the time. Not only because of my neurologist, and that I have seizures, or that I have uh, you know at nighttime I have sleep apnea. I mean, all kinds of things. Like I said, I'm just getting an update to y'all, letting y'all know what's going on. It's been it's been a yo-yo, man. It's been up and down roller coaster. You know, it's just it's, if anybody's been through something like vertigo, and seeing the room spinning on a daily basis, y'all know what I'm talking about. It's not fun. It's tiring. If you have seizures with that, it's even worse because sometimes you do fall down. I think I've fallen down. I've counted the last time. I think we count 8 times. Uh, my hand, I can, uh, I've messed up my hand, my shoulder, uh, where I hit the wall so hard because I kind of hit myself going through that, you know. Um, it's just one of those things, you know. So, yeah, that's that's some of the stuff that's going on. Just some of the stuff. I mean, and you take it a little bit at a time. You take it one day at a time. You kind of, I don't know. Like for me, it's like I stay awake a lot at night, during nighttime. I'm up a lot. I try to sleep. Believe me, I sleep maybe 2 3 hours and I'm up. Um, and then I don't go to sleep till about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning sometimes. Uh, then I'm up by 7 8 o'clock. I only sleep a few hours. Uh, Hopefully, with this nose surgery, it opens up my airways and I get to breathe a lot better. I didn't know how bad it was. Not to sound ugly, but I spit up a lot of stuff. I just thought it was my sinuses. Some of the doctors were telling me that it was because of the sleep apnea that I had a lot of congestion. Because of my sleep apnea, I sleep on my back. The nasal. I have problems. But come to find out that my ear, nose, and throat doctor, uh, you know, she told me that no, it wasn't like that. We got your whole sinuses is just blocked. You have practically nothing to breathe in, and I had been using the Vicks where you snort. You breathe in the Vicks. I was taking in that mist that you pump up your nose and over the counter. I mean, stuff that the doctor gave me prescribed, the prescription type. I mean, you name it, I was doing, every morning, every night before I go to bed, or every night in the evening. Um, and sure, it worked for a while. You know, it it helped me, but most of the time, it just worked for a while, and that was it. And then my wife and I were talking about, how she always wondered, why do you, how, man, my son and her always talk to me and say, man, you go to sleep like, I mean, you hit that pillow and you are asleep. I mean, you just. But we found out that I'm asleep because I'm so tired. When I finally get to the point where I want to sleep, I go to sleep because I'm so tired, and that's what I do. And and it just never hits you until you start. Like the doctor told me, they might have to break my nose when they get on the on when they take me in. They might have to break it, just in case, depending on what the surgeon sees, and if you see something in there that would need to, they might have to break it and then start, just because, depending on how bad the airway is. But the way it sounded, that might have to happen. I don't know. Uh, but she also told me that I breathe through my mouth a lot. I never thought about it. Never thought about the way the way my airway was. I mean, I just never thought about it. I mean, but now that she told me, I breathe okay through my left, but my right is the worst one. But come to find out, both of them are. They're both plugged up. So I you know I just hope it works. And then she tells me, if it doesn't work, they're gonna have to go in there even deeper. And I'm like, oh God, just why don't you just take care of it the first time? But of course, it's like everything else. My insurance is only gonna take care of so much the first time, and then if they find something else, then they have to, you know, go back to the drawing board. Let's check it out. Then we'll take care of so much. Uh, so they're gonna take care of whatever they can, but at least we're taking steps forward. It's been probably since about 2003, 2000, yeah, about that time, out of the military. Yeah, about that time that I've needed this. But you know, and as far as with the lungs, I don't know why my lungs are the way they are with the mass I got. They say I have two masses growing on my right side, with everything we did in the military. We don't know. It could be that. But I was a smoker. I quit smoking July 4th, 1997. But, if the damage was already done, it's already done. I can't really do nothing about that. But at the same time, with everything else, breathing in, anything could have happened. I mean, but I have been hurting through the lungs and spitting up, and the only thing I've never spit up is blood. I mean, the doctor asked me to, but I have had. I'm not want to sound ugly, but straight up, I've had the mucus. I've had the ugly phlegm, the ugly stuff, and that is daily, every morning, sometimes during the day. I mean, uh, and I really didn't notice how much I did it until just a couple of days ago, when the doctor told me, "How often do you do it?" I said, "I don't know." My wife, Sassy, told him a lot, but I didn't realize how much I did it. She does because she's here all the time. And one thing about her that she never was ugly about it to me. She was always, "You okay?" And I said, "I don't know. I'm fine." I never. It was normal for me. It was just, you know. And now I think, wow, man, I did that a lot. I got up, go to the restroom, and you know, I didn't know how much I would spit up so much, and I didn't think about it. But I always knew because my dad was a diabetic, and my dad was sick, but uh, he was in 80, he was 70 in the late 70s when he started getting sick. Of course, him with diabetes, it was a total different thing. But I remember him spitting up blood and stuff like that. But he started getting water in his lungs. But then they started pumping, having to get the water out. But there was just so much they could do. And oh, enlarged heart, which I always knew. I already knew that. But they finally they finally diagnosed it. The doctor finally wrote it down on paper and made it, I hate to say it, made it official that I have an enlarged heart. I was already told that at one time, but like I said, things are slow sometimes to get to. But I told my wife, and my mom had an enlarged heart, so I told my wife, I said, "Man, my mom lived to be 90. Her mom lived to be 93. So, you know, I just, and another update, I turned 62 in past May. I'm 62 years old. Uh, so, uh, yeah, the only thing I have gray is my beard. I don't know. You can see I got a little gray on my hair, but not much. Got a lot of this beard is gray. Uh, my sisters laugh because I have a younger brother. He's in his 50s. All gray. He's been like that since he was in his 20s. Uh, I laugh because every time we get together, they think he's me and they think I'm him because they think I'm younger than him, but I'm not. I'm not him, obviously. And he's a little. He gets a little uptight. He gets a little. Well, he gets pissed off. I just laugh at him. I say, "Oh, it's all right, bro. You look more mature." He just starts laughing, but he gets upset. He gets a little hurt, but that's my little brother. Um, like I said, I mean, everything. I don't know. I just wanted to come out and just kind of talk to y'all, talk to whoever listen, and I appreciate it. Anybody that comes in and out, thank you. Uh, if you've never seen me or think about it, this is what I look like. Uh, some of y'all have probably heard. I mean, I know some of y'all follow my my wife, and if y'all watch this, you hear me talking. This is who I am. Um, I don't know, man. It's tough sometimes. We kind of I don't know. It's That's really mostly what it's really what I wanted to talk about. I don't know what else that I'd like to. Been playing some games. Huh?
Just to kind of get your mind off of stuff, you've been playing games.
Yeah, been playing some games and playing. Uh, I played a lot of Fallout 76. Also, I've been playing Call of the Wild, uh, hunting game. I really like that game. Um, I talk a lot to with my son. We talk a lot of sports. Talk a lot about his college. Uh, we talk a lot about just life in general, what he wants to do, what he's he asked me a lot about what I've done. Uh, I just tell him how to just give him some advice on how to handle things. And most of all, I play a lot of 76 games. Fallout. I've tried other Black Desert. Uh, I played Assassin's Creed. Is that yeah? That's the one.
Yeah.
I played that one, but I played
Odyssey.
I played Odyssey. That's a good that's a good game. I try to keep busy, for the most part. It's tiring though. The first time I ever done Cup of JoeJoe late night. It's different because I normally have people during the daytime. We're talking about different things. Uh, Talk about a lot of positive stuff. I try to stay positive on what you would like to do. What what is life all about? What is life all about? I tell people life is, well, to me, life is what you make it. I know it's cliche. You kind of ask somebody what is life. Well, I can't really answer it for you because I'm not you. You have to make your own decisions. You have to make and you have to make choices. I've had talks about having to make choices, being positive, right? That's the one thing that I've always talked about is being positive and making choices. We always hear people say, "I had no choice." No, we all have choices. Whether it's the choice that you want to make or you don't want to make, it's a choice. You have to pick one. Uh, every choice has consequences. I talk to my son about that a lot. Uh, no matter how you look at it, whatever choice you make, you got to think of all of the consequence, or you got to think of the reaction, and that it's going to make, that it's going to have like I said, every reaction has an action, or every action has a reaction. However you want to say it, however you want to look at it, every choice that you make has consequences, uh, whether good or bad. Uh, no matter how much you think you're right, no matter how much they think that other person's wrong, you also got to look at it, and you got to put yourself in their shoes. You got to put yourself their problem, but at the same time, you also got to be realistic. I think that's the key to a lot of things, being realistic of what you can and cannot do. A lot of people think that uh, just do it and get it over with and whatever happens, happens. True to a point. But you also got to remember that whatever happens can be bad for you, the decision maker, or it could be bad for the people around you, uh, depending on what you're talking about or what decision you're going to make. My thing is just to be honest with yourself. You can lie to me all you want, it don't matter. Yeah, I can lie to you all I want, it don't matter. But I can't lie to myself. I think that's the number one thing that you have to say to yourself. I can I can lie to whoever I want. True, you could. But where's that really going to get to you? I mean, where's it going to get you? It can get you to places sometimes, don't get me wrong. But at the end, I guarantee you'll stand alone and you're going to lose because 9 times out of 10, and even 10 times out of 10, it's going to come out. And when it does, consequence. And it backfires, it's going to hurt. Not only you, maybe it won't hurt you because you'll say, I don't care. Maybe not. But the loved ones or your friend or your wife, your husband, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your kids, your boss or your colleagues or whatever. All I'm saying is that it's your decision. You wanna be an ass? That's up to you. You want to be a good person? That's up to you. I'm not saying that every single time it's gonna work out perfectly because what's the old saying? Life is not fair. Uh, Life is not perfect. Oh me, oh. Everything ever happen. Nothing good ever happens to me. They say, come on, that's that's life. My thing is that wherever you go and whatever you do, pros and cons. What's the plus and what's the negative? You got to think about it. And sometimes you got to make a snap decision, but at the same time, you got to be smart about it. I think that's where we lose our confidence in a lot of things because we don't know what we want to do, or we don't know where we're going. And that's okay. That's okay. Sometimes we don't really know where the road is going to take us, and I think that's to find the excitement of life, the excitement of the next challenge that we're going to take. But that's when you're going on life, like they were saying, the roller coaster of life, the the growing up in life. I tell my son all the time. I said, you're 19 years old, you know, and you are going to experience things while you're in college, and that's the college things. But when you get out of college, and don't get me wrong, college is life. I mean, it's an experience. It's a fun experience. It's you can do then there's consequences. You do something that's bad, and or that's that you get caught doing something wrong, or you flunk out, or you do something stupid and you get caught and whatever. Consequences. You get caught. I can't help you with that. I can't do anything about it. You made your choice. You made a decision, you screwed up, and now you're gonna take it like a man, and you're gonna suck it up, and that's just the way it is. My dad told me the same thing, and that's life. That's the way it goes. Was I perfect? Hell no, man. I could tell him I wasn't perfect. I mean, no, I wasn't. And I tell him, I said, I mean, if I could go back and do it again, I don't know if I'd change things because I had a lot of fun. But I also was, okay, what did Dad say? Remember, and I remember this, and I told my son this, before you do anything, think of the worst thing that can happen to you, and then think about what I'm going to do to you when I find out. Boom. And it kind of opened up my eyes. That's for me. That's my thing. I mean, my dad was an oil field man. You know, boom, boom, 5'7", but I mean, 40 years in the oil field, and he, you know, and before then, I mean, you know, hey, he was young too, man. He was young and built, and I mean, the man worked oil field. He worked pipeline. He worked strong man. He was supervisor. He worked from the ground up. The man was a. I hated working with him, but I did. I did some work with him, and that man was. He was hardcore, man. Man, he'd punish you in ways not to physically hurt you, but let me put it to you this way: my dad was a type that he'd punish you on a Friday night, and he'd tell me, "Sit right here, and you're gonna watch it," because he was off on a Saturday. He was off Fridays and Saturdays, and he worked Sunday through Thursday. That was his days. So when we got in trouble on Friday night, he'd sit us down right next to him, and I would watch every gosh darn Western show known to man back in the 70s. It started in 50s, 60s, and 70s, but this was in the early 70s. And come on, man. I was born in 63. When you're 60, when you're 6, 7 years old, 9 years old, then you got 10 years old, the late 60s, early 70s, and you want to get up and watch Saturday morning cartoons, bro. Come on. This is the fun stuff, man. That's when you get up and watch the cartoons, man. You want to watch the Looney Tunes. You want to watch Bugs Bunny. You want to watch Daffy Duck. You want to watch all these great Looney Tunes stuff, right? Foghorn, Leghorn. I remember watching the Pink Panther and all that good stuff. The Aardvark, the Ant and the Aardvark. I mean, this is old school stuff, right? My dad would have me and my little brother and sometimes my sister, my baby sister, God bless her soul, the one that passed away. Check this out. He would have us sit on the sofa. He had his lazy boy, and he had my little brother, my sister in the middle, and me on the other side of the sofa. Not together. I mean separated. And I mean sitting there watching TV. The only time we were to get up, we had to go to the restroom or to get up and change the channel. We were his remote controls. I always told my son that. But anyway, we stay up and we better not go to sleep. No, sir. We'd get up and we'd watch TV. And I watched TV. Obviously, I got in trouble more for my brother a lot. I'd take the heat. I tell him, don't worry about it, I got you. And I watched so many westerns. Tex Ritter. I mean, you name it. I watched Roy Rogers. I watched all these cowboys. I mean, the old school, cowboys, black and white cowboys. John Wayne. I mean, you name it. I watched these guys. And then the next morning, I fell asleep at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I didn't get up till after 12. You know what that meant at 12? American Bandstand was starting to play, man. That meant that the cartoons were over. That was my punishment. That was my punishment, guys. And that hurt me more than an ass whooping did. I'd rather have the ass whooping and be able to get to sleep and get up early in the morning at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning so I can watch my cartoons. Eat my cereal and watch cartoons, man. But anyway, and that I tell you that story because he was the man that was psychologically just. Oh, he'd spank us. Don't get me wrong. He'd give us an ass whooping. Don't get me wrong. But he'd rather do that to you. But as we got older, he told us, "You gotta drive. You be careful. I worry about the other guy, not you. But you be careful. But you do something wrong. Think about what's the worst thing that can happen to you. But then think about what I'm gonna do to you." And it made you kind of like, I grew up in a small town. Everybody knew everybody. You did something wrong, and 2 seconds later, the whole damn town knew about it. That's just the way it was. Cops knew everybody. Judges knew everybody. I mean, everybody knew everybody. Everything. Everybody knew your business. You went out with a girl, everybody knew it. That's just the way it was, It didn't matter. But it was cool. I mean, growing up in a small town. I mean, for the under, not even, 4,500 people. But still, I don't know. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I grew up in a nice, it was farming and ranching. Ah, man, good times. Work hard, bust your ass. Had the old cars, old trucks. Had your cowboy boots, your cowboy hat, all that good stuff. What everybody thinks Texas is all about, which practically it really isn't. But I tell my son, there's, getting back to the story, there's consequences to everything, and there's the right way and the wrong way, but you have to do what's right for you. You have to make your decision. You make a bad decision, you also have to own up to it. Quit blaming other people. If you screwed up, suck it up. I don't care, you man or woman, suck it up. If your child does something wrong, suck it up. Blame them. Don't blame it on somebody else. Quit doing that. That's why a lot of children grow up to be the way they are. I mean, what's this crap about children just, doing whatever they want, man? You go to the store now and they're talking back to the moms, the dads, and I'm like, what the? I mean, I've had kids look at me and try to tell me stuff, and I stare them, and my wife freaks out because I stare at them, and they just look at me and turn around and walk away. And the mom's looking at me going, "Did you tell something to my son?" I said, "No, I didn't say anything to your son." I said, "You ought to tell him something, but I didn't tell him anything." "You better." I said, I looked at him, I said, "Don't. Just don't. Don't. I am too old to put up with bullshit. And I'm not going to put up with it. I'm not saying to be ugly. I'm not saying to be disrespectful. But don't let people disrespect you either. But if you can walk away from it, just walk away. I'm not saying to take what they tell you, no. Because there's times that you got to just stand your ground and tell people what you really think. I know. Easier said than done. And I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying not to say it. What I'm telling you is that sometimes just walk away. But there's a lot of times, and I know, especially in this day and age, that some people just want to tell you. And nowadays, everybody pulls out their phone and they start recording. Me personally, I give a rat's ass if you're going to start recording me. I don't care. But I'm going to say is just don't. And I've had issues at Walmart. I've had issues at different stores, and I just look at the people and say, you know what? Don't. I'm not. I'm
It's
not.
just
I'm
like
not.
4 days, we'll
I'm
go
not
from there.
a kid. I'm not your child.
And then you have your
If your
achievements,
little kid's
obviously,
gonna run around the
and
store,
everything,
fall down, hit his head, or whatever,
achievements and stuff like that.
that's on you,
And
not
it
on me.
builds up
I didn't
into
touch the
like
kid.
rewards for
The
the
kid fell
restaurant
down.
or doing
It's not.
like
It's not my
if this
fault.
is a resident,
It's your
did
fault.
you
As a
see
parent, you need to take care of him
these
or
are
her.
also collections, so you collect items that
But then you
also
got these little youngsters that
you
think
follow
they
the
can,
instructions there
and
like
that's
these are
okay.
the
Hey, man,
routes
take care of your family. I understand that. But like I said, if you
and
make
then
a mistake or if you do
there's
something wrong,
that
own up
and
to it.
then
I don't care,
this
man or
is all
woman,
that for everything. So
own
there's
up to it.
quests you
If your
gotta do
child makes a mistake,
and doing the
own up to it.
quests oh
That's like I tell my son. You go out in
I
this
do the
world,
quest, but
when
I
you
just do it on
graduate
my
from
time off
college,
shift. Okay.
you
I
get a
can make
job.
a friend, or I can join a
He's
friend,
working right now,
I
but
can
when
invite
you
a
get
friend,
your job
or
that
I
you
can give
want,
you my code and you go into yours and
that's
you
when your
join your
life
friends and
really
say my
starts.
code's my code, and then
That's when it goes where
it just
you
changes everything up.
decide. Oh, you're
Or
deciding now. Yeah, you're practicing. But when you really start,
every time
and then you get your family,
I don't know.
then you start, you got a wife, you got kids.
I don't
I
know.
said, all I'm doing
That's
for
just
you,
the
son, right now
specificity
is
of what
giving you,
it might be not permanent, but I
advice.
need to show that I'm
You take the
consistent.
advice if you want it,
And then you get your map.
and
So you
that's
can
up to you.
see this
I'm
is
not,
it's kind of huge.
I'm
You
not
have
telling you
this
what
is
to
the
do.
main island
I'm
here.
just giving you
This is like
advice,
all watery,
and I'm giving you
and then
just
this is the area I'm showing
stories and
that's like
actual
very
things that have happened to
rocky
me
area.
so that you can
And then this is
learn
like a
from my
desert,
mistakes.
and then this
Now,
is like a volcano.
if you do, you do. If you
So
don't, you
there's
learn on your
that
own.
there.
You're going to have your own mistakes that you're going to learn from.
This is
Everybody
the
has
area.
their own mistakes to
And
learn
then you
from.
get mail, right? Your mail goes
But I'm going to tell you,
settings, and then you save the date. I think it's just
don't
promises. It's something
blame
about that
everybody
day.
else
So
if
this
your
is
life isn't where it's at. You are where you,
see the
what's that
pharmacy
saying?
store, pineapple. So what I normally do is
We
walk
used to
around
say,
with everything. So here's Chuck E.
you
Cheese,
are
that
where you are
and
today
has the
because
desert.
that's where
This
you
has the crafting table.
meant
This
to
has
be, or
these
that's where you wanted to
items to
be.
craft. But you
And
can
what I
do
mean by
anything
that is
else.
that you
I
have
have not
worked
yet seen
your
I have
way
not
to where you
seen
are today.
a
What I
desert
mean by
before.
that is that whatever
So
you've
let me
done
show
in the
you.
last
This is just
5,
stuff you can
10,
craft.
15 years,
Any crafting supplies,
that's what
decorations
you've
for the
worked
house,
to be at.
whatever. So it's here.
You have done everything
This is
in
inside.
your, well, maybe not in your
And it's
power,
just
but
that
you have done
everything makes me
everything.
efforts on
Everything you've done has led you to where you are
so
today.
this is going to
It
be
doesn't matter what you say or what I say
here
about where I'm
is
at.
the concept
And I'm not talking
art.
about your illness. I'm not talking about if you're sick. I'm not
Each
talking
wall is
about
very different.
if you have some
So this is a space.
hurricane or something drastic happen as far as nature or something like that. No, that's a little different. But it's how you cope
And
with it
then
that makes you
there's
where
art.
you are
So there's
today.
lots of
Now,
fun stuff.
you could have lost your job. You could have lost this, and I understand that. That sucks. My wife lost her
This
job
is a lot of
quite a
things.
few years ago. What my son was
So I'm just collecting them.
a freshman in eighth grade, I think.
I
Eighth,
think you can.
ninth,
I
10th,
think you can.
11th, 12th,
I think you
freshman,
have to go to
sophomore.
the
6 years ago.
clothing store.
And
We'll
it's
check
been
it out
hard.
on
It's
there
been,
when we get
hasn't,
there.
but
We'll
she's
check it out.
done
But I think
the
you can.
best that she can. And she's where she's at today because that's where she wanted, that's where
So this is like, but it's
she
supposed to
worked
be
to be.
kind of like
And she's done everything.
honestly feels kind of
But
like a Disney world. Like it's
that's
like
what you
these
chose
big
to be. You are
islands,
where
kind of like
you are
there's a
where you are
line.
today because that's where you
So like
chose
even
to
the
be.
teleport thing, you walk up to it
And like I
and
tell her, I
you
said
can
you
see where
chose to
you're
be where you're
at.
at because nobody
Like
asked,
these
nobody stopped you
blue
from
looking
going
things.
somewhere to go look
Like
for a
these
job.
pictures look like
Nobody
they
asked.
want to teleport.
But
And here is also
I understand why she did what she does because her mom was
and
sick, her dad was sick. Now I'm not doing too well, but that's
okay, so they
understandable.
have houses
But
like
she
here you can
chose to
unlock
do that.
here and then
And
there's
I
I guess
chose with her. I
coupons
didn't
and then
choose
there's
for
like
her directly, but I told her, "What do
and
you
this
want
is
to
like
do?"
I
But she
understand. So
chose
let
for
me
that.
ask you a question.
And
This
it's not easy, because I know she wants to work and she wants to do things, and but the thing is
where
that
are we? Is this
she
your house?
chose it.
And she's got
I
like a
don't
set
tell
that she
nobody
does.
what
She
to
has
work or
this
not to work.
cauldron that you cook
That's right.
the potions.
It's like you, or whoever. If if you have a way to
Sorry.
if you have a way to get any type of job, I mean, I know the job may not be exactly what you want, but if you can have somewhere where you can work and get some money, get paid, then do it.
You can go fishing in the water, you can swim in
If
the
you
pool.
can do it,
I'm gonna show you the little roller coaster ride.
then get a little bit of money, but keep looking for the job that you want. My dad always used to say,
Oh, this is a haunted house.
don't
So
quit
this is
your
like
job until you find the
no,
job
the
that
house
you're
is
going to already have.
Like
You
building
have,
inside,
and I used to tell him, well, how am I going to go and interview? You have days off, right? Well, yeah, okay
I
then.
think hers I did have to unlock it.
On your days
Like
off,
when I unlocked it,
you take advantage of that, and that's where you go put in applications when you're off on those days. I know it's different now because now it's even more, it's a lot more different because now you can just email an application or your resume. We had to go in person and fill out an application and give it to the manager and then have a face-to-face right then and there if the manager was even there. Now it's so much different now. Now I think they do computer. I mean, we have a grocery store here that you actually go in front of a computer and you interview that way. And I'm like, wow, man. I remember when we used to go. I worked at that store, and I remember I used to work at that store. And the first thing that we did, we had to go and fill out an application. We gave it to them, and then the manager would call you, and then you sat down in a room, and boom, boom, boom. They talk to you, and will tell me your experience and all that, and then you walked out, and you hope and next couple of weeks that they would call you. Now it's all electronics. It's all electronic. Email, you know. And now it's even crazier. My wife tells me that if you put anything crazy on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, TikTok or whatever, man, they check that out. Can you imagine that? It's crazy. But, you know, and now that stuff has all kinds of stuff because, like everything else, everybody's trying to be a millionaire on all these everything. You know, trying to get all these uh, uh, views, trying to get all that, and that's understandable. We're all trying to make a little bit of money here and there, and it's understandable. Who isn't, right? But my thing, so many, and I'm this is straight up. This is for women. So many women, young women, have lost their dignity doing this. I'm a 62-year-old man, dude, and I mean it is pretty bad that most of these people, most of these young girls, do what they do just to get people to like it or to watch it, and I can tell my wife, sorry, but seen one, you've seen them all, and I mean, come on. And then you wonder why there's so many pedophiles out there. Well, there you go. And yet, where are the mom and dads of these girls? Where are the husbands or the boyfriends? Where are the husbands of these women that do that? Anyway, it's a whole nother story, but still, that's still kind of sad that they do that because it's ridiculous that people do that. But you know, it's just the world has really changed from what I've seen, and I've been in the military. I grew up in the '60s. I grew up in the '70s, and people are always putting a generation this, generation that. I don't give a rat's ass what generation you came from. If you come from a family that had respect, that gave you good morals, gave you responsibility, and you understand what was right and wrong, then you grew up in a great family. But if you came from a family thinking that you had to do all these things and show off every part of your body just to do whatever you want and get whatever you want, I don't know, man.
So here's where you donate
it's
like
just
rice
crazy
and stuff.
what
Not the fish,
what the
I don't
world
like
has
fish.
come to.
I don't care about fish.
Uh,
But any bugs you catch, I
these
don't
these
care.
these things
And you
where
can donate more than one.
where
But I like to come in here and
I
I
don't know.
just see,
It's
it'll tell
just
you like I
ridiculous
already
of
have
what
one in
people
there.
go through
I have two of these in there and I
uh,
have two of these. So I like to
just to make a buck.
have two of each and I donate that.
And
And I
like I
like that
said,
each section looks like where you got them from. So you can
consequences.
a plug that you got from here.
And I know a lot of them are gonna
Some
not care. Well, I don't
some
care as long
more
as I'm making money now.
and the button
As
that
long
you
as I'm
can like
making
walk around.
my
You see?
1,000 views, my 6 million views, whatever, and that's
Walk
fine.
around,
Hey,
you can
dude,
walk
I mean
around
that's
like that.
great. I think
But
that's
you can
if
tell
that's
these
what you're
stuff
gonna
right
make.
there.
But remember, it all
Now there's
comes to
also
an
little
end,
puzzles you do, like in the
one way or
mirror,
another.
little puzzles.
And
Kind of
when it
remind me of like
does,
Zelda, the old school Zelda.
what are you gonna be
Where
known
you do
for?
like little
And if
puzzles
you're okay
and then
with
you
that,
have the other side.
then by all
Little
means be.
pyramids so that you
But
can
if
block
you
things
get
and get special things.
told and if you get
So that's key.
if people call you out,
So
don't
that's
get
what I'm
mad.
trying to do. I need to get into
And
one.
I'm not saying it's right.
But
I'm just saying that there's people who are gonna call you
okay, so
out.
this is the spooky
That's
area
just the
right
way it
here.
is.
All of this is there.
Because
And then
people,
here
some people don't give they don't give a rat's ass. They don't care.
I'll switch it to the second slide. So you can see the first one.
Self-respect. I guess that's bottom line is self-respect. If you don't have any
So
for
this is the
yourself,
answer. This is the answer. This is
am I
probably the
saying
answer
it's
right
right to
here.
do what they?
There
No,
it is.
it's not.
This section up here.
But
Which
some
here
people don't
is
care. That's what I'm trying to get to. That
it's
some
like a little
people
game you can go through and
don't
you can
care about giving you
so you
respect
put
when you
a
show
certain amount.
every
Okay.
single bit of
So
your
just so
body
you know,
like
you
that.
put them up. Then you can
Anyway,
price lists and you can
remember,
so you
choices,
do
consequences,
so then use the
it
card
all
save
comes
it
out
and then you go put it up. My favorite
to
thing
you. Everything we do
it's doing the
is
puzzles
on
in the
us,
pyramid.
me and you.
I like those puzzles.
Everything.
They're fun.
Everything we
They're
do.
interesting.
Uh, people gonna talk.
I like to press
People
on
gonna
it.
people gonna hate.
It just seemed like he's kind of missing
Uh,
it.
people have told me so many things. People have cussed me out. People have called me names. Back when I was younger, I would probably kind of like, oh man, I would probably cringe and I would have probably, oh man, that's not right. Why are you calling me that? Now,
all characters leave and come here and get
if that's all you can do to me and that's all you're gonna say to me, I say go back home, do your homework, and come back and try again. Because, you know, I've got thick skin and I don't really care. You can tell me whatever you want. I guess that's what's so crazy. My wife says I'm so crazy about me that they don't, nothing. Not that nothing bothers me. It's just that some people are gonna talk like that to you no matter what. They're gonna call you names. They're gonna say whatever. We live, and then we die. Some of us die earlier than others. Some of us live longer than others. And the thing is that everybody lives and dies. That's including you. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter how much money you have. Doesn't matter how much money you're making or how much money you think you're going to make. We're all going to live and we're all going to die. That's two things that we're all going to do. They say it's three things. You live, die, and pay taxes. Some of y'all don't pay taxes. Some of y'all will never pay taxes because some of y'all don't make it to that age to even work or pay taxes. That's just reality of life. But when you get to that age, yeah, you live, pay taxes, then you die. We come into this world with nothing. We come into this world with nothing on. We die. Yeah, you die with clothes on, but you die with nothing. Doesn't matter what you have. I don't care if you're a billionaire. Guess what? You keep nothing. Zero, zilch. You are nobody, and you become dust, and dust is what you shall be. And that's it. You are nobody. And later on, you are forgotten. You are talked about for a while, and then you are forgotten. Whether you like it or not, the only thing they're going to do is they're going to see a picture of you, and they're going to go like this. Oh yeah, I remember him. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, man, I remember. The ones that'll love you and miss you the most are your husband or your wife, maybe your kids. Maybe I say maybe because nowadays some kids don't even care about their parents, and that's about it. I mean, come on, be honest with yourself. When we live and we die, we become a memory, right? We take a picture. And I had 7 sisters. I'm down to 5. I've lost 2 sisters, right? We are 7. I mean, we were 10. I have a brother. I lost my oldest brother. So we're 10. The ones that remember you are the siblings. And then you remember your mom and dad. I lost my mom and dad. I lost my grandma. I lost both of my grandmas. I never knew my grandfathers, so I don't remember them. I seen pictures of them, but I don't remember them because I never grew up with them. But I remember my mom, my dad, obviously, and then my 2 sisters that I lost and my older brother that I lost. But remember, we just become a memory. If you're that mom and dad that your child does not care for you, or does never visit you, or you never visit them, or you treated them with no respect or whatever, you are gonna become nothing. You're not even going to be that picture that they hold up or that memory on that day that they passed away. You're going to be nobody. So remember, people, we live and then we die. There's 3 things we do, most of us, if we live to that age. We live, we pay taxes, and we die. Some of us work, some of us don't. It just depends how we do. But they always used to say the 3 things we do is live, taxes, and die. And some of us, we don't even get to that point to even work and pay taxes. We just live and then so young that they pass away. But in life, I don't care if you're a billionaire, like I said, you could be the richest man in the world, and when you die, you don't take anything. Yeah, they fit you in a nice little suit, nice little casket, whatever, or they burn you, whatever you're gonna do. And guess what? Like I said, some people are gonna hate you, some people are gonna love you, and some people are gonna remember you, and some people are gonna say good riddance, some people are gonna say it's about damn time, some people are gonna say, man, I'm gonna miss that dude, and so I'm gonna miss that lady, and some are gonna say, God, it's about time something happened to that person. But you know what? That's life. I came to the point when I was in my mid 30s, out of the getting closer out of the military. After so many years, I wanted my family to love, to appreciate what I've done. And I came to the point to where I'm so tired of just trying to be, just accepted as one of them. And then I finally said, you know what, being the black sheep of the family is not so bad, because at least I'm the one that's like, oh, look, there he is. There's Papa JoeJoe, man. There's Joe right there. Yeah, why? Because I'm the black sheep, so the hell with it. I'm here. The thing is that people recognize me because I was always the oddball. I was always the outside the box. I was thinking outside the box, doing different things that, and the ones that don't really appreciate what you do sometimes is your family. Now it's time to talk about that. Because how many times did you want to start a business? Did you want to do something for yourself? And and who's the one that's more negative to you than anybody else? It's your family. Your best friend. Because you consider him or her the family. Your husband, your wife, your aunts, your uncles, family. Right? Man, oh my God, when my wife and I started our business, oh my God, they were like, and we did. We started our business, just her and I, out of the house. And then we went from the house, we went to a shop. And almost 17 years we had the shop. And then I had to get back surgery. Then I had to get heart surgery. Then I had to get knee surgery. And I had 2 heart surgeries, back surgery, 9 surgeries. And I it came down to where we need to close up. And we did. We closed it up. But we had almost 17, 16, and 8 months of pure blessing, and we loved our shop. We did shirts. We had a fishing. We had. I mean, you talk about bait. We had lures. We had fishing rods. We had shirts. Dry fit. I mean, we catered to so many different types of dry fits. You know, we did. Uh, 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 the silk screening. We did so many. We did baseball, little league, pee wee football. We did basketball, the high school T-shirt. I mean, you name it, we did it. We loved it. I love the fishing part a lot more, but that's me. You know, I loved it. No, it was great, man. It was awesome. But the worst thing about it was family pulling you apart, telling you, man, are you sure that's a good thing? Are you sure that's a good idea? Oh man, that's gotta be tough, man. Having a business, never appreciated it, never said good job, never said, hey, I'm glad it's going good. And every time they started a business, I was like, man, it's a good idea, man. I think with I would always trying to find something positive for them to, well, what do you want to do? And I would ask them. I said, well, what's your stronghold? What do you do? What are you thinking? Why are you thinking that type of business? Why do you want to do that? What do you have as a background? Our background was we went to school. That's where I met my wife. I went to college. I went to get a degree in digital design and and learning the software and all that. That's where I met my wife at. That's where we started with. We actually started with photography, and I went to school for that because I got laid off working for a digital company that I was selling T-shirts and I was selling shirts and I was selling embroidery and silkscreen, and I thought I know how to sell this stuff. I just want to learn how to do it. So when it came down to it, I learned that what, man, I can get my school paid through my military. So I'm gonna check it out. So I went about 3 hours away, and I came down here to South Texas, further down south, and I said, you know what? I want to check this out. So I went to the college here, and that's where I met my wife, and I decided to go to digital design. So, and that taught us 3D animation. It taught us silk screening. It taught us photography, web design. I mean, everything that we needed for that. And then right away, I started talking to so many people there. I was one of the older guys there. So right away, I started talking to them. I was in my 40s. And right away, I started talking to them. I said, hey, you know what? I want to start a business. And I had like 17 people. Oh, yeah, man, this is great. Let's do a business. Let's do a business. By the time it was said and done, it was just Sassy and me. Sassy and I were the only ones left over. Uh, Everybody else was just, well, I don't know. Well, and then when we were doing it, they were like, wow, you already started the business. Yeah, we did. Well, I wish we'd have stayed. I said, well, yeah, but you were wishy-washy. You didn't want to know what to do. Your husband didn't. Your husband thought we were full of it and this and that. And now, thanks. I don't really. We don't need anybody else. We don't need no outsiders. We don't want anybody else. It's just us. So they saw that we had done all the groundwork, and then they wanted to come in after we had already put all the money in, which wasn't that much money, but it was our money. We had bought machines, we had bought everything that we needed, and then we finally got, my mother-in-law, father-in-law helped us out, so we really worked together to pay them back, and then when we finally got it, then people started coming in saying, hey man, can we get into? No, you can't. If you don't get into ground floor, why would I want you in now that my wife and I already busted our ass for something that we did? And like I said, every choice has consequences. You made the choice to leave, and everybody. And I'm talking about out of the other 15 people that wanted. Now, some of them, a couple of them, they left. They went to go. I think 3 of them went to pursue nursing, and they became nurses. Great guys. They talked to us. Hey man, I understand. Cool. But the other Well, the other 12, they decided that they thought that they could come in and they could come talk to us one at a time, and they thought they were going to slip in and say, hey, can we do it? And I was like, no. And they got mad. They were all pissed off, and I'm like, I don't really give a shit. I mean, hey, my wife and I were the ones that busted our ass, and you're over here coming in thinking that you can come in after we put in. We didn't put, we put our money that we saved, and now you want to come in and And then my mother-in-law, father-in-law put a little bit of money that they had. So I said, no, the partners are silent, which is which is mom and dad. So no, and they helped us out. They would come in when they wanted to and help us out. And my father-in-law was always there with me, and my mother-in-law was always helping my wife trying to learn the business, and she helped a lot. But there was only certain things that they could do. But and then my son, at 5, 6 years old, he was helping us. I mean, he was like, "Hey, what's going on, Dad?" Let me. He'd been with computers since he was about 2 years old because of my wife. And it's so crazy that now that's what he's doing now. He's going to school for graphic design online, but he wants to impart that to go to broadcasting because he wants to be a broadcaster. So, I mean, and I told him, I said, that's a great field to start out with because everybody needs digital design and graphic design and web and all that other good stuff. And he's having a blast with it now. So, and he's working on the computers too. So he has a job. So, he's doing pretty well. So, but everything has consequences. Everything I talk about right now, it comes down to choices and consequences, no matter what. Uh, Family is so hard sometimes because it is hard to make that decision. It is hard to ask the family, "Hey, I want, I want to make a business. What do you think?" The the harsh part of the reality was that some of them started businesses and they wanted us to be okay with that and say, "Hey, why don't you come in with us and start this business?" And I was like, "No, I don't want that business. This is a business I went to school for. I don't know anything about what you want to do, so no." But they wanted us to go in and put in so much thousands of dollars, and I was like, "No, I'm not giving you, you know, for example, $15,000 just to start your own business." And no, I said, "You saw," and I told one of them, "You saw us being a little bit successful, and now you want me to give you." I said, "No, I'm not gonna. Where were you when I asked you?" And you know, me personally, I'm a type of person that, you know, if you help me or you talk to me and tell me, "You know what, I really can't. I really like to be part of you, but I can't because of my financial." That's fine. Hey, talk to me. I understand that. But if I know you and I know my family, I know my brothers and sisters, I know and I knew what they were talking about. But when you come back and you ask me, and I know that you can do whatever you want to do, because I know you have the money, but then you're asking me, no, it's not going to happen. But that's me, though. That's how I know. You have to know who you're talking to, also. I have been burned so many times because there was times when I wanted to start a business, when when friends of mine or wanted to start a business, and I said, okay, yeah, I gave them some money, and then the business just they don't want to work it. I'm the one working my butt off, and I'm the one trying to. And then they got to the point to where, you know what, dude, just I just need my part of the money, and I'm out. And then they get all mad, and I'm like, because you're not doing anything. So there was times where I had to just, you know, suffer my losses, and I go, you know what, I'm taking this much, and good luck to you, man. I'm out of here. I'll sign whatever, and then I'd get out because it was one of those things that I'm not going to work 24 hours a day or 13, 14 hours, and him sitting down not doing anything. And no, it wasn't gonna be like that. So, and I kicked myself in the head because I was so trustworthy that and it took me a while. Believe it or not, it took me a while in my because I really wanted my time when I was growing up. I always wanted a business, and I would get sucked into that until, like I said, my mid 30s, maybe early 30s, 32, 34. I started realizing that people would come up to me and say, "Hey, Hey Joe, and I said, nope, I don't. Nope. No, but I thought, nope, I don't want anything. No, I don't want to be in business. Oh man, I heard, nope. I don't care. I don't care what you heard. I don't care. I don't want anything to do with anybody. And people are looking at me and say, man, I thought you wanted a business. I said, yeah, not with anybody. I want my own. I want to do my own business, me personally. And then they would be like, well. And then when we started school, I had told Sassy about it, and she said, I thought you didn't want anybody business. I said, no, just watch. Don't worry about it. And she was like, what do you mean? I said, just watch. And she was all like, but there's so many people. I said, yeah, I know. This is the first semester. Just keep on. Just. And we would have meetings. We would have meetings where we would record everything that we talked about. Everything. We would talk about everything. We would order pizza. We would order chicken. We would order anything dining in, and we would order Chick-fil-A. We would order whatever. We would munch out, and we'd come to order, and we'd talk about how we were gonna make a 3D animation movie. We were gonna talk. I mean, I had a story that everybody just like, man. But I recorded everything. I recorded the whole story. I still have that story recorded. Right, babe? I got that story recorded. That I recorded for that 3D animation story that we talked about.
Yeah.
And I talked about that, and Sassy was like, there's a lot of people. I said, no, just wait. We had like I said, we had 17 people. And by the time we knew it, there was only 2 of us left, which was, I figured maybe 3, but the person that I figured wanted to go into nursing, and he talked to me, and I knew he was going to go, and I told him, I said, no man, I understand. I said, you go right ahead. You go do what you want to do. You God bless you, and I hope everything works out for you. And it did. He became now he's a head registered nurse in one of the biggest hospitals in, I think, San Antonio, maybe, or I don't know if it's San Antonio or Houston, maybe Austin. I'm not sure, but he's doing real well. In San Antonio, yeah, I think so. He's doing well, and but sometimes you just have to make a decision on what you want. What I want is for you to sit down and make a plan. I don't mean, get crazy and write your whole life story. No. What do you want to do, and what's the pros and cons? But what is your strength? What is your weaknesses? Now, the reason I say that is because I always told my wife, I said, my strength was in sales. My strength was in understanding people and managing people, and working in the back and doing the stuff that I needed to do, right? Her strength, of course, with all computer electronics and all that other good stuff. And then we had people that can do the the other stuff in different departments, the websites and things like that. If you surround yourself, if depending what kind of business you're gonna do, make sure that you yourself, as the proprietor or the sole proprietor, especially if you're going to be the sole proprietor, or if you're going to be in charge, if you're going to be the owner, or the one of the owners, make sure that you know all aspects of your business. Now, the reason I tell you this is because if you begin just thinking that you are just going to be, for instance, I know all computers, and that's it. I know electronics. I know how to fix computers, right? Let's say you just want to. Let's take for instance, you just want to. You know how to draw. You know how to do digital design. Okay, for instance. That's a great asset to have. Don't get me wrong. I mean, digital design is great. You know how to use the the software, you know how to do it, you know how to draw it out, you know how to make it perfect for silk screening, you know how to do all that stuff. Now, and I'm talking to use for silk. Now, you need to find somebody that knows how to do the silk screen. Sure, you can look it up in uh, in in YouTube. You can look it up. You can check it out. You can see how people do it. Yeah, but then you got to know, where do I buy this equipment? Then you buy the equipment. Then you have to do it. But if you can find somebody that knows how to do it already, and they can teach you face to face, or one on one, then you need to learn it, right? But if you think that you can, that all you need to learn is just how to make it, you need to learn, how do you do it? Where do you put it? Yeah, because you can, you can put it on the screen. I mean, you can do it on the computer, and you can do all that good stuff. But what happens to it then? What do you do with that then? Where does that go from there? Well, you find somebody that knows. What do you do with that print? Well, you got to burn it on the screen. Then you from the screen. What does that mean? Well, that's what I'm saying. You can look it up on YouTube. You can look it up on that. What I'm trying to tell you is that when you have a business, you need to write down, what do you want to accomplish. What is your target? Who are you targeting, first of all, for all of it? But at the same time, how are you going to accomplish? What is your going to be? Like, what we did is, okay, we went to school for this, so we understood. Okay, I worked at this job, so I already knew the silk screening, the embroidery, uh, the ways of how to do this stuff, because I've done it before. I was one on one already, but I also had to get somebody that could also do it. You got to learn how to use a heat press. How do you do now? Heat presses are automatic. Yeah, they're automatic, but do you do it for 30 seconds? Do you do it for 45 seconds? Do you do it for a minute? You got to learn the ins and outs about your business, and it doesn't have to be silk screening. It can be fixing computers. What are you going to do? What type of computer are you going to fix? Or how are you going to fix them? Where are you going to buy the parts? Where are you going to get the parts? Where the cheapest parts are going to come from? How much is that going to cost you? What is going to be your capital? How much money is it going to be? What's going to be the cost? I mean, how much is it going to cost me? How much percentage should I charge? How much is my, and this is the number one thing. Not only above all that of what you're going to have to learn, and what to do the business, what is my competition doing? See, this is where people go wrong, and this is where I learned in working for a big corporation. It was a multi-billion-dollar corporation, where I learned is, learn your competition as much as you learn your business. When you learn your competition, and I don't mean, go out there and, oh man, I gotta go and I gotta spy on them. No, you'll know who they are. I mean, that's easy, because you'll know how much the prices are. Most of them tell you the prices right away. You want to be even with them. You don't want to be over. Or what do you give? What are they giving you? What we do on the cleaning, we do the cleaning of, when we fix a computer, we do this, this, and this. But we do this, and this, plus this. Do you do the same for the same price, or do you do a little bit more for the same price? If you do a little bit more for the same price, you might have a little advantage of this guy. Or do you want to charge a little bit more because you do a little bit more? What's your market? How much are people really willing to pay for that? If you start in a business, there's a lot of things to think about. When we started our business, what helped us is that I'd already been in that business for quite a few years before I went to school to learn how to put it on a shirt. I already knew how to sell it. I went door to door. I went business to business to sell that stuff. Now, are you going to have a salesman, or are you just going to do local advertising? Are you going to do advertising to just word of mouth? Are you going to, I mean, when you want to start a business, there's so many things that you have to think. Just because you say, well, I know how to fix computers and I'm good at it, that's great. I mean, that is the one thing you need to learn, and you need to know how to do it. But so does your competition. They know how to fix computers. But what is gonna be the difference between you, ABC company, and XYZ company? What are you gonna be different than these guys? What's gonna better you than this company? That's the number one thing. Not oh, we're the same. Well, this guy's been around more, so I'm gonna trust him more. See, that's another thing you're gonna have to deal with because you're just starting the business here. Excuse me. So since you're just starting this business, this guy's been around for 5 years or 10 years, and you're just been there for, you know, 2 days, or you just started. So, they're kind of like, I don't know, man. ABC's only been here for, he just started. He's just a startup. This guy's been here for 10 years. I don't know. Well, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do to bring these customers in? Hey, you know what? We'll go over to your place and fix your computer. You know, so many mile radius, so many whatever, however you want to do it. That's the key to being different in the market. I don't know much about fixing computers. I don't know much about the computer industry as far as fixing them or anything like that. But I'm talking about electronics because everything is all computer now. Phones, the same thing. Golly, phones popped up one time everywhere. There was phone this, there was this type of phone, this type of phone. People were even trying to sell, I don't know, like what do you say? Uh, where you could be, they came to our place of business where if people bought a phone at our place, I was like, nah, I don't want to deal with that. I got too much stuff to do here. Uh, I'm not gonna do that. Well, we'll pay you so much money for every phone that you sell. I'm not gonna do that, dude. I don't have any spare people to do just the phones. Yeah, we could have probably done okay with it, but I didn't want to go into the phone company. I didn't. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe it wasn't. But to me, I didn't want to do that. That wasn't my cup of tea. So, I might have missed out. I might have not. I don't know. I don't know if they. I didn't know. And it wasn't the brand like Cricket, or it wasn't like AT&T or T-Mobile. It wasn't none of those guys. So none of those guys. Those guys already had their own stuff that they were doing. Now, if it would have been Cricket or T-Mobile, okay, that's a little different. You know what? Hey, but they would have had to rent the place for me. So that's different too. No, this guy was just a guy that just wanted to do something, and I thought, nah, I'm not here to do that. So there's things that you need to learn about what you want to do as far as making the business work for you, and not just for you, it's for your customers. How did we do it? Well, we went to school. We had that background. We had interns work for us because some of these interns were going to school and they needed to have so many hours working as graphic designers. So they knew us, but at the same time, I knew the school. So I took the time to go and talk to them, and I would talk to them, and a lot of them liked the way I would present myself. So they were like, I want to go work with them. I want to go and do it because I didn't give them that set time. Hey, I need to work 50 hours. Okay, well, you tell me when you want to work, and you come work with me. Okay, well, I can work these days. Okay, well, then you come work these days. And I put them to work, and they were good at what they do. But if they messed up, my wife was right there telling them what to do. I was there telling them what to do, how to do it, and they were excited because they learned the way. And then I would bring them to the back. I said, "Hey, come here. I know you're supposed to be doing this, but you want to know how to do this. Oh yeah, man, you don't mind? Nah, I'll show you how to silk screen. Come here. So I'd pop them in, and they would. So then when they go back to school, they were like, "Hey, man, you know that guy, man, Joe. He teaches you how to do this, and then he teaches you how to do that, and then he gives you a shirt, and it's a dry fit, and he lets you keep it. Really? Yeah, man. And it was like one of those things where I thought of something different so that he can go back and talk to them so they can come to me. And then Lord and behold, everybody else started, well, they're giving shirts out too, but they were like, yeah, but Joe started doing that before they do. So see, you got to catch that little thing before anybody else does it. And it worked all the time? Nah, because some people knew the other guy. Some people knew he'd been there a long time before I did. But at the same time, I became good friends with the other guy. And every once in a while, he'd, hey, man, hey, what's going on? Hey, do you have a size so-and-so shirt? Yeah, let me check. Yeah, dude, come on over, come pick it up. So we'd be trading shirts every once in a while. And then sometimes he'd call me up. Hey, what are you doing right now? What's up? I need to wrap a truck. Okay, cool, man. You ever wrapped a truck before? Nah, dude. Well, come on, man. I'll show you. So we wrap a big old pickup or a boat. We would wrap a boat. We would get wrapped, and we'd actually wrap a boat. It was fishing boat, or it was something else, some other company. We'd wrap it, and he was like, "You know what, man? Whenever you want to wrap your truck, let me know." And okay, I'm cool with it. Uh, he hooked me up with a big old sign. He just said, "You know what, man? All the help you do me." I said, "Oh, you don't have to do that." "No, dude, I'll make you a bigger sign than what you got." So he made me this big old sign, man, beautiful sign. Boom. He goes, I got everything, and I'll put it up for you. I said, "Oh, you don't have to do that." "Yeah, don't worry about it." So we became real good, and then people started knowing that me and him were all helping out. So every time he was real busy, hey, Joe, can you do this? "Yeah, dude, I'll take care of it for you." We started trading people. And sometimes, I know it sounds crazy, but sometimes you have to have that one person, even though we're doing the same kind of job, but you have to have that one person that can help, that you can throw things at him and he throws things back at you. Because this guy did not only that, he did those big old signs, the electric signs, and every once in a while he'd call me, "Hey, want to come help me out with the sign?" I tell my wife, I tell Sassy, I said, "Hey, I'm want to go help him out with the sign." I said, "Yeah, I want to." "Yeah, man, so you can learn." "Yeah, dude." So we take off in a big old truck, big old sign going up, get on the lift and everything. And I was like, "Yeah, dude, this is all right. Okay, dude, let's hold up here. You got your hard hat on, and it was cool. But we had an understanding. I wasn't gonna do signs. I mean, not I couldn't. There's no way I could. And he wasn't gonna do any fishing stuff either. So we were good. But if he needed to, I'd tell him, "Hey, man, I got this order for." Sometimes I had an order for 5,000 fishing shirts, man, and it was like, man, dude, I have a four, which is four to do four shirts. He had an eight, and then I ended up getting a six, but he had an eight. I said, "Can you help me out?" "Yeah, dude, bring him on." I'd go over there, boom, 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 boom. His people would go over there, and we'd hook him up. I'd give him a little. I'd pay him a little bit. He didn't want much, but I paid him a little bit. Bring him back. Throw a couple shirts to the guys. They were all like, "Ah, nice, badass, all right. I love fishing too, man." Come back, boom. So we'd help each other out. But it's kind of hard to find somebody like that, right? But when you do find somebody like that, hey, don't make them enemies. Make them friends. Make them. Be friendly to them because they can help you out later on. And he helped me out a lot, even during after after my back surgery and my heart surgeries. He was kind of like, "Wow, man, I hate to see you that you're closing down and stuff like that." I said, "It's all good, man." I said, "I had a good run, but I think it's time. It's time for me to just chill out and relax." And we did. I miss it. I don't miss the 4 o'clocks in the morning sometimes though, but uh, I had guys come in and then call me up, but I do miss when they would call me up and say, hey man, I got a fishing tournament. What do you think? What are you doing Saturday morning? Or tomorrow? It was Friday night. And what do you mean? Hey dude, I need one more guy. One of them bailed. I need a guy. We're leaving at 4. Oh yeah, dude. All right. I'll pick you up at the house, man. All right. They'd come over here. I'd give them my address. They'd come over here, pick me up at the house, and then we'd sometimes go by the shop. So what do y'all need? I need some lures, man. I said, all right. You need some bait? Yeah, dude. Throw some bait in here. So we take some bait and we take some lures. I think we won out of so many tournaments that I went. We won like 5 of them, and we would. It was pretty cool because we would donate the money. We were we it was kind of cool. We would take a little bit of the money and go to this place called Chili Willie's and go eat burgers.
That place is so good.
Yeah, that place was good. My babe knows, and my son knows that Chili Willie's was good. But we would go over there, but the rest of it we would give it to. We do a lot of autism tournaments, in March especially, and then we did other tournaments, and we didn't win too much money. I mean, it was a few $100, and then we sometimes got second or third, and sometimes we didn't catch anything, but it was just the fun of being out there and stuff like that, and it was a lot of fun, but just catching the reds and the trout and sometimes some flounder and uh, uh, oh man, kind of miss those days. Reminiscing on them days, man. Good times. Being in the water, my buddies with the boats. Being out there. Oh man, good times, good times. And that's another thing that I would do because a lot of times when in our business you had to do at least 12 plus shirts, right? You didn't have to, but that was kind of like a rule. Uh, it's like for me, I really didn't do, because it was cost effective to do 12 or more. But in a tournament, you normally had 4 guys, right? 3 or 4 guys. Um, and sometimes the guys would come in and say, hey man, we have a tournament. But to make it, to juice it up, it would be like, and we want you to be in it. And I'm like, what do you want? How many shirts you need? Well, we need 4 shirts, and I'm like, damn you. But then it would come out okay because they'd get shirts for 4 shirts and then the 4 shirts for the wife and then a few for the kids, and they would pay the shirts, which it wasn't too bad. But of course, I didn't charge. I charged them just for what it cost, and the guys would pay for it. I sometimes say, don't worry about it, but they would still pay for the shirts. Some of them, well, most all of them did. And I would be like, nah, man, don't worry about it. Of course, I'd turn around, put gas in their boat and stuff like that, and they would get all mad, and some of them would slip another, some money in my bag, and it was pretty cool. We'd still have a good time, and we'd go out there fishing, and they would come in. A lot of them would always want me to do the 4 shirts, and that's kind of hooked up a lot of business for us because a lot of tournaments would happen, and some of the guys knew that I would only, I didn't have that minimum of 4. So I would tell them, as long as you give me 2 weeks or 3 weeks before the tournament, I'll do them for you. And so a lot of them would come in, hey, I need 4 shirts. So I would have like 10 teams come in, and I do 4 shirts for each of them, different colors, different ways of doing it, and I would charge them. Some of them I'd have to charge some decent money, but they didn't mind because they knew 4 shirts was kind of steep and what they wanted on it, so it was okay. But those, it took me time, man. I was gone. Oh man, I'd leave here at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was gone till I'd sometimes sleep at the shop, but I'd sometimes stay there one of the guys would stay there with me, and we'd take care of the stuff, and that's good times, man. Yeah, I miss that. I don't miss the sleeping at the shop part, but it was it was a lot of fun,
So yeah, so we're just regular for
and
yeah, we can kind of get fine.
I guess the hardest part was saying goodbye to
Really
it,
fun. I'm glad I can
but
keep close brother and talking about it.
you know,
Really good.
having a bit, like I said, but getting back to it, having a business is not the easiest thing to do. Having a business is is work, and it depends what you want to do with it and how you want to do it. Uh, working working for yourself is not the most glamorous thing, uh, you know, especially for a mom and pop store. What we call the mom and pop store. Reason I say that is because a lot of times uh, you're so busy, and then uh, and you don't even wrong. You made decent money. You we made okay living on it, but it was also I was never home. I mean I was home, but I wasn't, because I was, by the time I knew it, I'd come home 8 o'clock, 7, 8 o'clock at night, uh, shower, eat, go to bed, get up at 3, 4 o'clock, go back to work, and start all over again. And this was practically 6 to 7 days a week. I tried having the weekend closed, but everybody fishes on the weekend. And needless to say, we would make pretty good money on Saturday and Sunday on bait alone. You know, as people would go, you know, we had a lot of fishermen that would come by. I say from 4 to 12 was a pretty damn good day on Saturday and Sunday, especially Saturday. Sunday, from 4 o'clock in the morning to about 10, and then from about 1 to about 5 o'clock.
Okay. So yeah, we did.
Saturday all day,
Focus on that.
practically, but mostly in the morning because everybody take off at 4, so they would come in. I would sometimes run out of bait by 10 o'clock. So Sunday would be, and sometimes on Saturday I'd run out of bait. So Saturday afternoon, I'd have to, the guy that would got to get the bait from would have to come in and restock, and then which he loved because he was always busy with me. And then I had to buy 2 more freezers, and that made it even better for him because he'd restocked all the freezers with me. And I sold mullet, shrimp, squid. Uh, they get a lot of shark fishing down here, so we sold stingrays, uh, shad, and you have to have license for that too. So that costs you too. So it was like I said. If you're gonna do a business, like I said, you gotta know your market. You gotta know what's gonna sell, what's not gonna sell. There was lures. I had a lot of lures. I had some lures that would sell. I mean, off the shelf. I had some lures that took a while to sell. I had some rods and reels. Reels, the Shimano sold. The Avid reels would sell for shark fishing. Man, I sold so many of those. Expensive reels too. Those I would bring home because I couldn't afford to get them stolen. The reels, I mean. I had them in lock and key, but at the same time, I didn't want them to break in and then steal those. The rods, I had them in locked up also, but you know, it's glass, they could break it. Rods were expensive, some of them. The reels were more expensive, especially the Avid reels. The Avid reels were, I mean, anywhere from 500, 300, 500 to 3,000, depending what you're gonna buy. And we sold a lot of them, and I sold a lot. But like I said, if you're gonna start a business, then my advice to you is to make sure that uh, first of all, that's what you want to do. Second of all, write down what you what you want to do out of. I mean, what you want out of that business. How much, how much capital you want to put in, but at the same time, uh, how much you, how much is going to be your, how much expense are you going to put in for your inventory, uh, your monthly. Are you going to do a weekly, monthly, quarterly? Uh, you got to think about how you're going to pay your taxes. Uh, are you going to take, obviously now it's all, a lot of it is debit, credit, cash. You can, people still take cash now. Are you going to take checks? Some people still take checks, from what I understand. What's your rent? What's if you're gonna have insurance on the place? Uh, let's see. Just trying to think of what advice I can give y'all on that. And like I said, this is just advice. This is just something that we went through. Uh, Everything's on the computer. Your inventory now, it's so much easier. It's so easy to do it like that. Uh, like I said, I mean, for us, it was how many shirts we have, what color they were. Oh my God, what type, 50/50, 100% cotton, dry fit. What were they? What company was it? Some people were specific, man, on what they wanted. Uh, wanted camel, digital. They wanted white, blue, green, red, uh, bright orange, bright green. We had so many different colors, so you need to understand what are you going to deal with? What are you going to? I mean, there's so many variables that you have to put into your business of what you have to think about. I went in so many other businesses where we didn't talk about stuff like that, so we lost out on quite a few things. So when Sassy and I went into this, we were writing things down before we started, and she was like, "Wow, you need all this?" I said, "Yeah, it looks more complicated than what it is, but you need a lot of this stuff." I said, but inventory, you don't start off with everything because we can't afford that, but you start off with, you know. So what we did, okay, to get money, we had cameras, right? We had digital cameras. So we started weddings and quinceañeras, 15-year-old, and we started doing photography. Excuse me. We started doing photography. Let me take a drink of. Excuse me. We started doing photography. So we did weddings. Christian was like, oh man, our son was maybe a year, 2 years old.
Yeah.
So my mother-in-law really helped out. She would take care of him. We would do weddings and quinceañeras. When it first started out, it was just word of mouth. We started advertising. So we did, and the good thing is that we did one, and then all of a sudden it became another one, and then we did another one, and the cousin, and then the friend, and then they liked what they saw, then they liked what they saw. We did a wedding, we did a couple more weddings, and we did another one, and all of a sudden we started having a Friday night wedding and a Saturday night quinceañera. Then we had two on a Friday and then two on a Saturday, and we're like, wow, man. So now when we started, Sassy was pregnant.
What am I doing wrong? I forgot.
She was pregnant of our son when we started doing quinceañeras.
Oh.
So she was doing the photography and I was doing the camera, and we had the camera on wheels and I was rolling and she had it taking camera, and I'd make sure that I didn't bump into her. She would make sure that nobody bumped into her, and we were, and everybody of course, oh, she's so beautiful, she's pregnant, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, we know, we're
I
laughing.
know. I do.
And it was cool because everybody, they saw, they knew we were a couple, and it was cool because nobody was how do you say it? No, nobody was
Which is
what's that word anyway? Nobody was there was no hard feelings with anybody because it was my wife and I, and nobody was gonna get mixed emotions of, oh, it's a girl and it's a guy doing, no, it's a couple. Oh, that's cool, man, it's a couple doing it. So we would get after the wedding, I mean after the church thing, we would get everybody together and I would get everybody, okay, pictures, mom, dad, the couple, the everybody, and that's how we made our money when we first started. And people would ask us, how much do you charge? So we would tell them, I calculated how much we charged, and people would say, that's it? And I was like, well, you want me to charge you more? I'll charge you more. And she goes, why do you charge? We didn't charge that much less, but we didn't charge that much. And some people were charging like outrageous, right? And
and they're like, okay.
they compared us to people that were charging outrageously high and to what we were doing, and they were like, how come y'all's are coming out better than what these guys? I said, I don't know. I said, we went to school for this, so we know what we're doing and how to do it, so we know how to do all this stuff. And they were like, yeah, but these people, I said, hey, you know what, I don't know why. Well, some of these guys started calling us and asking us what we do, and I was like, look, dude, you do what you do, I do what I do. I said, I don't know what you want. And they were telling us that we should charge more money, and I was like, no, we don't have to charge more money. We're fine where we're at. So we started doing more photography and more. Well, we made pretty decent money, and then CJ was born, and then you know I started doing it with there was another friend of ours that started helping me, and we started doing it. And then when Sassy started getting feeling better, and my mother in law, mom would go take care of CJ, and then they take care of CJ, and CJ would stay with mom. Then we'd go 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, go pick him up, bring him back home, and here we are. Man, it was woo. It was rough, man, because we'd be Friday, then the next day would be Saturday, and here we go again, all over again, and boom, and everybody was like, "Hey, I heard that you do," and they would come after us before as we were leaving. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Can you come over here? What's going on? Can you please? Our daughter's gonna be 15 next month, or whatever, or my sister's getting married and she's looking for somebody, and blah blah blah, and this and that, and we had we were booked for months in advance. I'm talking almost a year and a half, 2 years in advance. We were always booked, and we were blessed. We were very blessed. And then we started doing it. Even when we were in the shop, we were doing some, but it started slowing down a little bit. Uh, and people still see us today, and they'll look at us and say, "Hey, aren't you Joe? Yeah. Hey, y'all the ones that did our daughter's quinceanera, or we y'all married and this and that. Hey, what's going on? How you doing?" And it's pretty nice to see the couples and things like that. But that's how we made our money to start and to move out of the house so that we can get the shop. And uh, we were starting to do nothing but high school. Uh, uh, we were doing all like high school digital design. I mean, we were doing all graphic design on silk screen, the schools around here. We had quite a few schools. Middle school, we're doing little league. We're doing pee wee football. We're doing baseball, basketball. But then it's all seasonal. It started slowing down. So then I came up with a shirt, and I talked to Sassy, and I said, I want this shirt done, and I want a fishing shirt, but I want a dry fit. So we ordered some dry fits, and we did some fishing shirts. And I decided to put the name going down on the back of the shirt. Whatever I put, redfish, trout, whatever it was, and it became a hit for us, for our thing. So then I started looking at the how I can get lures and Shimano reels and all this other stuff. So things started popping in for fishing, but the shirts really started popping in, and we started silk screening shirts, and we started silk screening our own shirts, our own different things on there. You know, I rather a bad day of fishing is better than a good day in the office. Just different things like that. Uh, MILF, man, I like fishing or something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
different things that we would put on there. We wouldn't have shirts where we would put Chevy trucks on. We ended up getting copyright for Chevy and for Ford, so we can put Chevy trucks and Ford. They would send us stencils so that we can put the trucks on there. We sold a bunch of those old school trucks, old school Chevys and Fords. Uh, we just did a lot of things that we looked up, and we signed up for them, and people and they okayed, and we started selling T-shirts. We started selling silkscreen. I mean, and people loved it. They just started variety. But I started fishing because fishing's a year-round thing, and football and basketball, that's a seasonal thing. High school is like a seasonal thing. Everything to do in sports is like it stops. So I'm telling you this because there's things that in your business that may slow down. So you may need something else. You can combine things. I mean, it was weird because people saw us and they were like, "You silkscreen, but yet you sell bait." I said, "Yeah." And then the crazy part is that there was another guy that would sell fishing, and he never sold bait until I started selling bait. And he was a good friend of mine. Him and I would go fishing all the time. And I told him, and his name's Joe too. I said, "How come you never sold bait?" He goes, "I never thought about it." I said, "You're a fishing shop." He goes, "Yeah, but I sell a bunch of lures." And he was like, and he's bigger, a lot bigger than what we were, but he was real cool about everything. He was like, "Hey, dude, don't worry about it, man. You you're a good friend of mine." And I started doing shirts for the high school out of the house, right? And I would go to his shop, and I would put my high school, because he was a big time high school. His brother played in the football, and his nephews. And I told him, I said, "Hey man, you think I could sell some of the shirts here?" And he goes, "Yeah, man, put them on here, dude. Let's see what we can do." So I gave him a certain amount for every sale of the shirt, and I just went business to business and asked if I could put their shirts in of the small mom and pops, and he's the one that said yeah. And I was selling probably 100 shirts a week out of his shop, and he really liked it. And then I started making shirts for him, and that's what really brought us in together even more. And then he's the one that told me, "Hey, why don't you get, after he saw me get into the fishing." But I told him I want to get into the fishing, and he goes, "Yeah, man, go ahead. There's plenty for both of us. I said, I'm not gonna get as much as you have. I'm just gonna sell some. And dude, don't worry about it. But he's the one that pushed me in the right direction, and that's how we got into the fishing. But I had told him I've been wanting to do that because of the of it's so slow. He goes, yeah, fishing's year round. I said, yeah. So I told my wife. He goes, do it, man, do it. So like I said, you get to learn, and you get to understand if you find somebody that's good, that's good people, and to this day I see him off and on, and he still wonders where you been, man. I said, I can't do this no more. He goes, I understand, man, I understand. He still tells me, if you ever want to make my shirts, let me, he found somebody else to make his shirts, but he says that he preferred me, but I told him I understand. I mean, I would love to make his shirts again, but I miss it, but I don't, but I'm not gonna redo anything again. It's just I just get too tired, and now I understand why. Uh, getting tired because of my lung and stuff like that, being sick from there. So, but it is what it is, and we just got to fight through it, and we just got to keep going with it. But I just, like I said, there's so many things that we can do, and so many things that you as a person can do for yourself. If you want to if you want something, go after it, man. Don't let your family, don't let your friends, please, husbands, wives, get on board with them. I'm not saying quit your job. I'm not saying to just stop. No, be smart about it. Uh, one thing about Sassy, she worked during the time that we had, uh, you know, that we had the business for a while. She worked. I did a lot of the work too, but she also had a full time job. But she helped me out a lot too. But she had a full time job because she knew that it was gonna take take that and you know to make things happen. She knew that it was gonna take a little extra income until it started rolling around. Once it started rolling around, she stopped at the school and she started working. And I told her, yeah, it's time now. You can. But she worked there for a while. I mean, before she uh, uh before she stopped working at the school, and you know we had to make sure that her income was coming in, and a little bit more than what she was making. So uh, then the store started making some more money, and it was making good. But it got hectic for me because bless you. It got hectic for me because it was tough because I was like, man, I was never home. I was on the computer 24/7. It felt like I was like, if I wasn't at a computer at work, I was at a computer at home. I'd come back and I was making and then she was helping me. Hey, I got 4 designs I got to make, and then I got to burn them. Then I got to silk screen them. Then I got to do this, and I got to make 100 shirts. I got to make 500. I got to make 1,000 shirts. I got to, and you can only do so much, and man, it took a toll on me, but I kept doing it. I kept working it. I kept working it. Uh, man, it was. I remember those days, just stressing sometimes, but making it happen too, man. Just working hard and making it happen, and then eventually, she said, what do you think? I said, well, let's go through the books and everything, and I said, I think we're ready. I think we're ready to make this happen. And man, she got to the job, and boom, it just started clicking. Things just started happening, and oh my God, we were working hard. We were busy, busy, busy. Thank God though, everything started working a lot, and then. But like I said, don't quit your job. Don't talk to each other. Talk to whoever you got to talk to, and make a decision on that. Do what you think is right for you. Don't don't just don't
You
just
don't
sit
actually
down
go
and
on
wait for it,
the switch screen.
because it'll never happen. If you
I don't have anything to switch
if you
screen.
wait and wait
Oh, this
and
is
wait,
updated the app.
it's not gonna happen, people.
Oh, nice. Do they
It's
probably
not.
have them on the website? Or do they have
It's
where you can use the keyboards?
I think the hardest thing is to take that first step, and that was always the hardest thing for me, is taking that first step.
Oh, really?
Uh, and that's in anything, whether it's weight loss, whether it's uh,
That's
uh,
so amazing.
the first job, whether it's going for the first job, going to college,
You not only have to
going
type
to
on screen.
playing a game, getting
I started.
on
Let's see.
on stream,
This is
just
a different
doing
app.
anything is taking that first step.
Different. Oh, but this feeds me.
Doing the business is taking that first step. Not necessarily
Oh, it's so
just
fast.
opening it and doing it. Taking the first step is talking about it. Talk to somebody. See if talk to your better half. Talk to your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your aunt, your uncle, your friend,
Okay, I've never played it on my TV, so I
your
didn't know it did that.
you know
I also don't really smart.
talk to anybody. I mean, not anybody, but somebody
I just
that you
assume
have
everything's
trust with.
very
Talk,
late. Oh
you
no.
know,
Oh
just make sure that if that's what you want to do,
god. No,
write
these
things
songs.
down.
Oh my
You know
god.
that the old, there's an old saying.
Sure, but
What's that saying? That make a plan and then do your plan. I mean, you need to you need to do it. You
whoa,
need to
everything
just
went over. There's
but
money.
but you need to write things down. You need to write the
Go
pros and
to
cons of,
go down.
okay, why
Oh my god.
why should I do it? Why shouldn't I do it? Well, I should do it because I want to do it because I want to have my own business. Uh, I know about this. I know, whatever. Why shouldn't I?
How do I type? I don't
Maybe,
know.
I'm afraid. Okay, that's fine. Uh, you know, if that's all you got, I'm afraid, then I think the pros is gonna beat the cons. So, write your pros and cons down. Why you should and why you shouldn't. Uh, you'll find the
I
balance
messed
on
that
there
up
where you'll
because
find that
I
there's gonna be
downsized it
more
and
why
then
you
it said
should and
this
why you
thing and
shouldn't.
then
Or if you're just gonna,
and there's a even part
if
here.
you're scared, that's natural. We're all scared of doing something. We're all afraid of it failing. But remember, if you're doing stuff that fails, it's because you're at least trying to do something. You know, if at first you
It's
don't
so sad
succeed,
how much
try again. That is just, that's just life. How many times have
I don't
you
understand
failed at
that
something,
either.
but you finally do it
So
but
weird.
we don't think about it. We just keep on doing it and doing it and doing it, and
That
then
was so bad. What
it
is this?
happens, and you're like,
This is
I
playing
got
on
it.
my
I finally
PlayStation.
did it.
So I pushed the wrong button and it ended up
It's the
making
same
it
thing with if you want that business or if you want anything. If you want to lose weight, you got to keep doing it over. You got to keep working out. You got to keep walking. You got to keep on your diet. You got to keep on whatever. They say, well, if I diet, yeah, but diet comes with exercise. I don't care what kind of diet you're on. You got to do some exercise. You got to move a little bit. Whether it's 15 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, you still have to move. There's no magic pill, people. There's no magical anything. You gotta move. Period. Uh, Believe me,
He's
I
like
know.
every night. I'm
But
pushing
what
too
I'm
hard.
saying
It's
is
so
that
fast.
you need to try to sit down. Well, you need to sit down,
These people
and
don't
you
like
need
the
to
fast.
believe in yourself. You need to
Yeah.
believe in what you
That's the
want to
energy
do.
of the time.
Don't go in half-ass either. Doing something half-ass, you might as well just not do it at all.
Well,
Yeah, you're scared. Oh hell, I was scared. Everybody's scared. Doing a business is not easy.
well,
Hell,
it
going
is
to
at the
work is not easy.
beginning because all the people left
But
didn't like the map.
you don't want to do something that you don't know anything about.
What is it? Desert.
Research it. find out who's doing it in where you live in your area. What are they doing? What are they offering? How much are they offering it for? Do your homework. That's the number one thing that kills businesses, is because they don't know what they're venturing in. I mean, if you don't know, it's not going to work. You need to know what you're going into. That's just business in itself. Business 101, you got to understand, what are you going into. You just can't say, all right, I'm going to go make shirts. No. Do you know how to do them? Do you know what it costs to buy a machine? One guy told me one time he wanted to just make decals. I said, hey man, that's great. That's good money making decals. He goes, and then I told him, I said, what kind of machine are you going to use? He goes, what do you mean? I said, what do you mean? What do I mean? Are you going to do color decals? Or are you going to just do one color decal? Or are you going to use, do you have the tools to take the once it prints it out? Do you have something to print the actual decal on? Do you have, what are you going to use? Who are you going to buy the paper from? What are you going to use? Oh wow, man, I don't know. Well, I see those big. Yeah, do you know how much those big color ones are? It just depends. They're like $4,000 to $10,000 to $20,000. Oh, well, do your research. You can't just say you're going to do something and you don't know anything about. Those decals cost money. One guy told me he was going to make signs for for elections, for people to, that you put on the yards and stuff like that. I said, man, that's good money too, dude. That's a lot of money. I said, those guys, when they order signs, they order from 100 to 500 signs at a time. But do you have a machine for that? Do you have that's mostly decal. You also have a good color. You gotta have a color printer to do that, because that's the picture. You gotta. Oh wow, what do you mean? I said, yeah, man, that's decal. You gotta have that all color. You gotta have that. You gotta buy that cyan, all that color printer. It's like a printer, but it's for the big cutout. It has to cut out. And oh my God, man, how much? How do you know all this stuff? I said, I don't do it. I don't know. I've never done that stuff, but I have a friend of mine that does that, and yeah, he makes a lot of money on it, but he also charges. I mean, it costs a lot, but those guys don't pay that much money, because he only makes so much money on it per sign, but he makes like thousands and thousands of signs a day. But he has those big old printers for it. But those printers are like, I think he paid like $50,000 a printer. Yeah, like damn. That's back in the day. I don't know what they are now, but he was like, wow, man. This was back in, I don't know, 2005, 2006, and I was talking to him about it, and he was like, wow, man. He goes, you don't have one of those? I said, nah, dude, I ain't gonna. I said, I'm not gonna do signs. I'm not gonna do that. That's a whole other monster right there, man. That's a lot of money. I said, but you can't make that though. I said, you can make some money, but I'm not gonna. No, thank you. You know what I mean? What's this? What's that? Subscribe. Oh no, that's me. Uh, I'm sorry, I can't read too well. I mean, I can't read. It's very tiny.
No, I have it right here.
Oh, okay.
So I can read it to you.
Okay, yeah, my wife's reading that, so. But no, but it's just what you want, man. It's just what do you want to what do you want to spend on your business? What do you want to do? What kind of business do you want? What kind of what are you thinking of? And write down everything that you have to spend too. Look it up. Sometimes the cheapest equipment is not the best equipment. Maybe you want to go in between. In the you got an A, B, C, D. You might want to go with the B or the C, the B or the C. You know, what you can afford. Sometimes you might want to talk to somebody that has a used one. I mean, you just want to start up with something small. You don't want to do maybe you don't want to do the big uh, expensive one right off the bat. Unless you can afford it, that's up to you. But make sure you know how to use it. What else? I mean, in a nutshell, just learn as much as you can before you start what you want to start. Man,
Oh
you
my
know,
god, I was thinking of this.
uh, a lot of people say that, oh man, it's easy. It's not easy starting a business. It's not the easiest thing for people to go into business and think, oh man, I'm gonna start a business and this business can make me millions of dollars. Yeah, just because the person hit that pretty strong doesn't mean. I mean, I mean, for instance, let's take TikTok or let's take Twitch or YouTube. I don't know.
Where,
What do you call them? What do you call a YouTuber, babe?
like, well, they're all like influencers or YouTubers.
Influencers. There you go. They call them influencers. We always have to have a certain name for these people. Uh, I remember when they just said, it's a YouTuber, but now they're influencers because they influence you to give them your money. That's what I say. That's my way of putting it. But anyway, everybody starts off thinking that they're gonna do this, stream. They're gonna do that, and they're gonna make millions of dollars, right? And that's understandable. Who doesn't? Heck, I wish I could make millions of dollars on a stream or on YouTube or that. But first of all, I got to get on that before I do it, right? I got to actually do it every single day. I mean, I get tired just getting out of bed because I'm just don't feel good. But I mean, if I did it every day, I mean, golly, I don't know if I have enough years on me to do that. But we see so many people, like, oh man, look at that dude. That guy has, man, he made a lot of money doing YouTube. He made a lot of money doing playing games. He made a lot. Yeah, he did, but he probably or she probably grind, as they say, as young people say, like crazy getting to that point. It just doesn't happen overnight. Uh, some of these people just have a natural ability or
She's the one that
they
came and
find that
sang and
niche that they need
don't fall for it.
and people get
Don't fall for it.
interested. uh,
Is she the one that recorded?
they get into
It's not her fault. It's not her fault. It's not her fault.
and they catch the algorithm, I guess they call it, that they're very like I said, they influence people to be able to watch their stream. Others are very, I don't know, uh, they come up with different things to do to catch your eye, so you kind of stay, and I've been caught where you kind of stay and watch because they think that, which I kind of, oh man, it pisses me off. You're kind of looking at something where you're hoping that they're gonna finish it, and then they don't finish the damn video. They don't even give you the answer to it, and you're just like, oh man, why don't? And then you're just like, you know what?
And not.
I don't even watch them no more. I don't. I have. It has been. It's been a while since I've watched some video. I've gone through some TikToks here and there, but man, you know what I watch a lot, and I was showing my wife the other day is people cooking food, and it's not, and it's a lot of it is fish, uh, different styles of fish and different styles of seafood, different things of steaks and whatever, or grilling or whatever. I'll watch that. Uh, I don't know. It's just every once in a while. I watch a lot of
Even though they go to green out, I
what
think.
else I watch?
Is
Really,
it
I watch baseball a lot.
Is it doodle? Keep
Football.
out, mama. I heard it's doodle. I know the pink person.
I don't know. I don't really watch much video. Oh, I watch. My wife sends me videos a lot. She's silly about sending me videos like that other one that she sent me the other day. She don't think I watched, but I did. With that girl talking, I don't know what was she saying.
Who?
That crazy one that you sent me yesterday.
Oh, I don't remember what she was saying. I remember I sent it to you, but
Yeah,
I don't remember
it
what it
was that time we were joking around about something, and she sent me something that was I don't know. Anyway, she was joking around and stuff, and so I'll watch those videos and stuff like that. Sometimes Dragon sends me things.
I know what you
Our
mean.
friend Dragon sends me things, funny things, and she just I just laugh at her, and I'm like, you know, she's funny. She's a trip. I love her. She's I miss her too though, but she's a trip.
A coral?
Uh, but you know,
Yeah, that's a coral
she's a
one.
sweetheart.
I think it's a coral.
I love my Dragon. Uh,
I'm pink, right?
it's just one of those things that
No,
people
yeah, I'm pink. No, coral
do
is
just to get
mama. I think
the
mama
views,
is rose.
and
Some
that's
other colors
okay.
are difficult.
I mean, I just can't find myself doing that. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know. I just. I guess people don't like grumpy people. I don't know.
I
Uh,
love grumpy you.
yeah. You have no choice. I have no choice. So you got a ball and chain on me. So what do you expect?
Whatever.
Yeah, but this has helped me because of what I'm going through. I mean, people. I don't know. It's just weird. I mean, I could try to come out dancing, but I don't think you want me to. Back in my youth, maybe I could do a little dance, make it a little get down tonight. There, there. Anyway, I just had to say that because I knew she was gonna sing that. Anytime I say something, she'll start a song with it. But no, but I mean, there's times that I think, if I did this or if I did that, but I don't know. I mean, it's just what. Any suggestions? Just tell me. I don't know. I mean, I'd show my body, but I'd probably scare you. Since I'm so built like a
There's
brick
my pet
house.
dead on the floor where they killed me.
But no, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, some people. I mean, it's just amazing how I watch some of these guys like, that play games and it's like they have like two two 2.3 million people watching or 2,000 people watching or 4.1 million, and I'm going, God dang, where you get all these people from? But hey, congratulations to them, right? I mean, I think that's pretty badass. I mean, that's pretty good to have that many people. I just want 4 people watching me, and I'd be happy. But hey, I'm cool. I'm good with that. But with me, I think this is more stress release for me than anything else because it is stressful for what I'm going through right now and what I'm talking to you about. I enjoy. I wish I could. I wish I could tell you. I mean, I don't remember everything. I just remember what I've been through. I need to start reading my books again about business of how we do sales. Uh, Another thing, if y'all know how to do outside sales, that's a big plus. Outside sales is still very, and I don't mean door to door, house to house. I mean business to business. Uh, what I used to do when I was with the uniform company, I used to do business to business sales from 8 to 5. Now, the way I used to do that is I used to do from 8 to 12. Well, when I got out of the office by 8 o'clock, about 8:30, 8:45 to about 11:30 in the morning, I would visit anywhere from 25 to, depending what kind of businesses there was around me, I would go anywhere from, I say 25 to 40 businesses in one day. That's just giving out my card. Hey, how you doing? You know, I'm with so and so. There's my card. You ever need anything? Let me know. You know, uh, can I have one of your cards? I take one of their cards. Sometimes they yell at me, tell me to get the hell out of their business, and I say, okay, well, have a great day. Here's my card, just in case y'all need anything. And I'd leave, and I'd look at their business, and I'd have a little notebook in my pocket, and I'd write down their business, and then they normally had their phone number on the door, so I write the thing. Everything that I had in my little notepad was because I didn't have a business card. Then I'd carry all their business cards in here, and then I'd take my business card out of my pocket, my pant pocket, and we always had to wear a tie, long sleeve tie, with the white shirt. Well, it didn't have to be white, but I always wore white. And then I'd take it out and go to another one, and hey, how you doing? My name's, I'm with so and so, and I went so and so and this and that. So I do that door to door with business to business. Well, I did that with our business, and what you do is all you're doing is creating a customer file. Okay, so what we did is when we got back to the office, we had our computer, which all it was just a computer, a small computer that we had, and we would take it and we would put every name of the business that we went to. We look at the business card and we go and we put every name that we went to and what they, we kind of put down what business it was, what they did. You kind of guessed at what they did. If you didn't know, you left it blank, but you just wanted to make a customer list. So that's what I did. That's what I did for the business, for the uniform company I did. And I did that all the time. Now, I normally had anywhere from, like I said, 25 to 40, sometimes 50 people in one day. And that was Monday through Friday when I first started. So for the first 6 months, that's how I knocked doors. I sold off and on because the old saying, even a blind squirrel finds a nut. So we'd go in and somebody right there, oh, hey, how you doing, man? Perfect timing. I'm looking for uniforms. I'm looking for this. And all of a sudden, boom, 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 you write up a contract. Boom, you sold. Boom, you got it. You get it in, and then you sold that. So you would sell that contract. So what I did with our business, I would go door to door and tell them, hey, this is Joe. I'm with RTP. This is we're new in town. We're located right here across the city lake. Can you help us out? We're just starting out. We do embroidery, silkscreen, anything else you need. We also have fishing shirts. We have this. This is well, before that we just did. We do silkscreen, embroidery for your business. We do caps. We do shirts, logos. We do that. We do this. We have a 12 shirt minimum, 12 cap minimum. Everything's 12. Blah blah blah. This and that. If you ever need anything, please give us a call. So I started doing that for our business because I've already had experience. Was it scary when I first started? Hell yeah. I didn't know how to talk to people when I first started. Now, my first start when I first started doing door to door was selling copiers. I used to sell copiers door to door. Actually, no, I used to sell Kirby vacuum cleaners door to door. When I first started, I was in the military. I was an E1, and I had one of my friends. His wife was. We were talking about. We were just talking, and we're BSing, and she looks at me. She goes, "You ever thought of being in sales?" I said, "No, man, I couldn't sell anything. There's no way I could sell." She goes, "I think you could sell Kirby vacuum cleaners." I think you're crazy. So her husband laughed. She goes, "He's just an E1, man. He needs extra money." I said, "Nah, man, I can't work. I'm in the military." She goes, "I tell you what, I'll take you out on the weekend, and you go sell the Kirby, and you can make some money, right?" And I said, "This was in Colorado, right? Colorado Springs, Colorado." So I'm thinking, man, Kirby vacuum cleaners, what the hell? I said, "You know what?" And she dared me. She goes, "I dare you." And I was like, "What do you do?" She goes, "I sell Kirby vacuum cleaners door to door." I said, "No way." And then she told me how much she made. I said, "What?" She goes, "Yeah, I make like $3,000 a month, and I do it part time." I said, "Part time?" She goes, "Yeah, I work like 3, 4 days out of the week." And I said, "No, you don't." She looked at her, and the sergeant looked at me. She goes, "Yeah, she makes money, man." I said, "Really?" She goes, "Yeah, sometimes I make $6,000 a month, but that's on a good month." I said, "Wow, selling Kirby's?" I said, "Wow, that's crazy." So anyway, I decided. She bet me, and she goes, "I don't think. I bet that I could get you to sell a Kirby." And I was like, "Nah, I don't think so." So anyway, I went through. I went on a Saturday. She called me up, so I went on Saturday morning, and I went to the Kirby place. And I went there. I talked to the Kirby guy, which was the owner. I don't know who he was. I forgot who he was. Started talking, and we sat there, and he told me, okay. So I went in there, and she taught me how to do a demonstration of the Kirby. And it wasn't hard. It was just kind of, I was just kind of like, you know, I didn't know. I was all thumbs, so to speak. I was kind of like, man, how do you do this? How do you do that, right? So, but I learned. I learned the Kirby. It was a Kirby. Which one was it? I think it was a heritage. The heritage one. I think they called it. Anyway, at that time, the Kirby. I think it was 12. It was $998. I remember 998. I said, "Why don't you just call it 998.99, something like that?" I said, "Why don't you just call it 999? Why don't you just say $1,000?" Oh, people, and I started understanding. People look at it as it's under $1,000. See, people don't think 998.99. No, 998 or something like that. And I said, "Oh wow, man, yeah." People don't look at it 1,000. They look at 998. Anyway, so I went, and I went with her, and I learned it. And then I went with her that Saturday. And I went with her that Saturday, and I saw her do like 3 demonstrations in the house. And that woman sold 2 Kirby's that day. And of course, that's when I saw. I said, why didn't you leave the Kirby?" She goes, "Well, we have to wait for the credit to pass." I said, "Okay." But needless to say, a few days later, her husband, I saw her husband, we're at work and everything. I said, "Hey, man, what's going on?" Like, "Hey, dude, what's going on, man?" Shake his head. "What's up, Sarge?" Started talking to him. He goes, "Hey, man, come on over to the house, man." I said, "Yeah, okay." It's like a Wednesday or Thursday. I think it was a Wednesday or something like that. So I went over there, and he was talking. He was laughing all week. He goes, "Hey, man, Kirby, man." I said, "Shut up, dude. You're laughing. There goes the Kirby dude." I said, "Shut up." Everybody's always laughing. The girls are laughing. The guys. I said, "You sold Kirby?" I said, "Nah, man. I went with his wife, and I forgot her name. Damn, Kim. I don't know. Anyway, I forgot her. So I went, and we were laughing and joking. So we went that night, and that night, right? Well, we went that afternoon. It was about 3:30, 4:30. Well, we got out about 3:30. We normally got out early. So with him, he was a sergeant. So we went, left, got in the barracks, got dressed, got on my fatigue, and then I went with him. We took off with him. I left with him, went to his house, got in there. She was there. She goes, you ready to go? I said, ready to go? For what? We got to deliver Kirby's, man. I said, no way. She goes, yeah. So we went and we delivered those 2 Kirby's. There, people were happy. They were laughing. They go, hey, you're back. I said, yeah. And she said, what do you do? I said, I'm in the Army. I said, I'm stationed in Fort Carson. Wow, that's great. That's great. Thank you. I said, what do you do? I said, I'm just. She wants me to sell Kirby's. I can't sell Kirby's. I'm just with her because she made me a bet that I could sell Kirby's, and I laughed. And she goes, yeah, whatever. So I had worked a little bit with her, right? I did a little bit of vacuuming with her, and I did the dirt test and pulled out that stuff. And I don't know if y'all have ever seen a Kirby, but you do a dust mite on on the bed, and you pull the black rag and all that stuff. And but I had done some of the tests on both of them, right? No big deal. And she gave a trade in to the to the thing, and I saw her trading in, and she gave them like $30 or something like that for their own vacuum cleaner, or Hoover, or whatever it was. And she gave the other one the same deal, and it was like that. And I had asked her, I said, well, what do you do with those $30? She goes, well, on each commission I can make. I think she said I could make like $300 on each sale, right? And I was like, okay, well, that's not bad. She goes, no, it's not bad at all. I said, man, $300. But if I give a trade in, that $30 comes off of my commission. I said, oh, so you still make 270? She goes, yeah, I still make 270. I said, it's badass. I said, all right, cool. So she was, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then she takes off, and we give her them. They do everything, everything was already signed, and she see, and they, boom. So she goes back, and I said, why did you wait this long? She goes, well, Saturday, you got to wait Saturday the day, then Sunday doesn't count, but Monday and Tuesday, that's 3 days. And that's called a 3-day, where they have 3 days to reconsider, and they can say, I don't want it, and they can retract and say, you know what, take it back. So they can reconsider and say, you know what, I made a mistake, I don't want it. But they have, by law, at that time, I don't know if it still exists, they have 3 days to say, you know what, I don't want it. But she closed it in the way that they said, no, I want it. So anyway, we delivered that one. Go to the next delivery, delivered that one. She also did the same thing. They signed and everything. Brand new Kirby out of the box in the plastic. Boom, they're happy. They shake my hand, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I didn't do anything. Oh no, you vacuumed our couch, you vacuumed the floor and everything. You shampooed part of our living room. Oh, it smelled so great. It was beautiful. Blah blah blah. I was like, man, I didn't do anything, but I did some, but I didn't. Anyway, so, and then I had to clean out everything else. I had to go out there and clean out the stuff, and yeah, I actually did a little bit of work, but I was just doing that because she's a sweetheart. The Sarge, he was awesome, man. He took care of me all the time and stuff like that. So I take off. We take off back to her office. I don't say anything. I'm just like, man, that's pretty cool, man. You made 270 on each deal. She goes, that's badass. I said, all right, good job, man. That's awesome. We didn't say anything. She goes over there, goes to the office. The owner's there. Shake his hand. Hey, how you doing? How you doing, sir? How you doing? Hey, all right. And he tells me, congratulations. I said, oh yeah, she did a good job. No, to you. I said, me? I didn't do anything. She goes, nah, congratulations on the first 2 sales. I was like, first 2 sales? I didn't do nothing, man. She goes, oh yeah, you did. I said, I didn't sell those. She sold them. She goes, no, she closed them. You sold them. I said, no, it don't work that way. I said, no. She gave me those 2 sales. And I was like, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to motivate me to get in here so I can sell. I said, I'm not leaving the Army. She goes, oh, we're not asking you to leave the Army. She goes, we like your attitude. We like what you do. And I thought, why are you giving me this sale? I said, no, I can't. Well, she gave me those 2 sales and that $270 for each sale. And I was like, man, this woman is smart. She knows what she's doing. She didn't need the money. She's making good money, right? But I think the owner paid her money, and I found out later she got what they call an override on what those 2 sales were. It was only $100. But she made 200, and I made 270 on each. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Anyway, I get a check later on. About it took a couple of days. Uh, uh, the Friday to get the check. They paid me. I come back Saturday, and I worked there for a while, just doing it on the weekends when I could. Man, you're not gonna believe that I sold quite a few Kirby's on a monthly basis because of the way she taught me and the way I talked to these people. But she would knock me in. She would knock on the door, get me in. I'd do the presentation. I would start getting. I fumbled a lot. And I think people felt sorry for me when I first started. God, I was when I was what 18, 19. Just oh my God, you fumbling up. And I would hook it up and I would do it. But man, by the time I knew it, then she'd come in, check it out, and she was, how did he do? Well, it's it. And I would just be quiet. She told me when I walk in there, just don't say a word unless I ask you directly. And they would be like, oh, he did fine, he did all right. He was kind of scared. He's kind of. I said, well, this is his first time. He hasn't been around. And, oh, really? Well, he did pretty good with it. And sometimes I would sell. Sometimes I didn't sell anything. But I did sell a couple of them. I sold quite a few for cash, and I didn't know that he gave you a $100 cash bonus every time you sold the cash. So you made 300 or whatever it was, plus the thing. But she's the one that gave you. They gave them. She always used like she started off with $10, went to 20, and then sometimes she would be. Sometimes she'd give them zero for their for their trade in because they didn't have anything, or they had a, 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 a vacuum cleaner that didn't work, so you made your 300. And some people would pay with Visa, Mastercard, and you'd still get your $100 bonus. So I ended up selling quite a few Kirby's, man. I made some good money, and it was pretty good. I worked for about mm, I say about 6, 8 months, about 8 months, and then I started. I had to go on. I had to go on in the field and stuff like that. But off and on, I would go. But she helped me out a lot. I was making an extra 1,500 to $2,500 a month every once in a while. Man, I was happy. I was like, yeah, these extra bucks, man. I bought a nice little furniture and stuff. I already had a truck, so I didn't have to worry about that. But I was able to drive the truck because I had extra money. I was just an E1. Then I became E2, and then E3, so it was even better. But I made a choice to keep working with them off and on because it was good money. Every time I needed extra money or if I wanted something, I'd go and talk to him. But then he got shipped out somewhere. He got orders for somewhere else, and she went wherever they went, and she would, man. I loved both of them. They were awesome, man. But that was my first sales job, door to door. I learned a lot from him. He told me, if you give me 6 months, you will learn some. You will learn whatever you learn here at this Kirby vacuum cleaner. Whatever you learn, you can take with you for the rest of your life, no matter what you do. You can take it with the army. You can take it if you sell. If you go into grocery shopping, if you work at a grocery store, you work at a department store, you work at anything. No matter where you work at, you will take whatever I teach you. You can take with you and learn. And the first time I heard that, I was like, well, if I work in a department store, I don't have to go door to door, so what am I going to learn? But I did learn. I learned that positive attitude had a lot to do with what you believe in. And believing in yourself was the number one thing that had you understand that whatever you do, it creates a consequence in your choice. You made a choice. I made a choice. I made a choice to sell vacuum cleaners. And I learned that sales became part of my life because it became my cup of tea of what I understood how to do. I loved it, but it wasn't that I was, the old saying, oh, he was a born salesman. No, I learned the method of how to talk to people, and I read books on how to talk. I read Zig Ziglar, I read Brian Tracy, I read Judge Ziglar, which is Zig Ziglar's brother. I read different different books of all positive, uh, you know, uh, just positive thinking. Just even that book, the positive thinking. I mean, it was just books that you learned of how to be that person, so that you can learn what what to do in almost every situation, how to close the sale. Man, that was one of the best books that I could ever. Actually, I had that in a tape. I had those in cassette tapes, and I used to listen to those, how to close the sale, in my truck all the time, and that was every day. I mean, every closing method that you could think of, every single one of them that you can think of how to close a sale, and that made me stronger, not just in, not just for sale, not just for Kirby, but for life in itself. How to talk to people, how to make them understand that you are important not only to everybody else, but you got to be important to yourself. You have to be loving to yourself first, to you before anybody else. Because if you don't love what you see in the mirror every single day, how do you expect people to love you? Let me say that again. If you do not love what you see in the mirror every day, how do you expect people to love you? You need to love yourself first. If you do not do that, don't expect people to love you. And stay away from negativity. Negativity is the worst thing that you can hang out with. If people are negative, walk away. If people, why do you think my skin is so tough? It used to not be like that. I wasn't born with tough skin for negativity people, because I was always around negativity. And a lot of that was my family. A lot of that was my friends, so my so-called friends, people that I thought were friends. They were always making me and telling me that I was wrong, telling me that I shouldn't do this. Oh, you're not going to make it here. You shouldn't do that. There's no way you should be like that. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. People that tell you things like that are people that don't care about you. They're people that want you not to succeed. They want you to fail. Why? Because they are miserable with themselves. If people are miserable with themselves, they don't care about you. They don't care about what you are doing or what you are successful in. You know why? Because they are not successful in anything that they want. And then that means that they don't want you to be successful in what you want. And you need to understand that if people do not want you to be successful, is because they don't want you to be successful. You understand that? You need to understand that if people do not want you to succeed, is because they are not succeeding in what they want. Understand that. Understand that people are so bad and negative to themselves that they will bring it on to you, because they don't want to be hanging out with you because you're positive. But if they can bring you down to their level, then they'll be okay. But that's not what you want. Stay away from the negativity. Stay away from that person. I don't care who he or she is. And the hardest thing is the family that is so negative to you, or to, you know, your kids, anybody. Stay away from them. Easier said than done. I understand that. But to get out of that negativity or that situation you're in, that's the only way you're going to be happy. Because if you're not happy right now, look around you. The, the negativities around you somewhere. If it's not you, it's somebody around you, and it's carrying on to you. So my thing is this: if you are not happy, you have that choice to become happy. You have to make it yourself. You can't just look at it and say, well, you know what, I'm going to live like this for the rest of your life. Well, then you made the choice to become negative or to stay negative. I don't know how else I can tell you that. I mean, but there's just, yeah, I can be, you know, walking on eggshells and, oh, well, no, bullshit. Walk away. If you want to be positive, you need to walk away from the negativity. Like I said, I always say this to people: out of negativity and into positivity. You need to walk away from the negativity, because if you don't, then I there's no help, because you don't want it, and then quit asking for it. If you don't make the first move, then quit crying and quit acting like, oh me, oh my, whatever. Shut the hell up and do something about it. Quit your goddamn crying, and quit making everybody else act, wanting them to be feel sorry for yourself. Get up, get off your ass, and do something about it. Quit being negative about yourself. That's all there is to it. You want to do something, then do it. But my thing to you is to get the positive attitude and stay that way. You're not gonna be like that 100% of the time. I understand that it's impossible, but work with it. Every once in a while, we do feel down. You think I wasn't down when I found out what happened, what's going on with me? Of course I was. I felt like crap. I felt like the end of the world was coming. But then I had to suck it up and say, hey, I've had worse things, and here I am. I gotta do what makes me positive, and that's talking with y'all, talking to you. People may not watch this, people may not care for it, but you know what? I care for it, so I'm positive about it. So if you like it, you like it. If you don't, hey, walk away. You don't have to stick around. If you don't like what you see, get off. It's okay. You're not hurting my feelings. It's not gonna end. Like I said, it's all right. But my thing is that, yeah, was it easy for me? No, it's not. Is it easy for me to say, hey, I may have cancer, I may not have cancer? No, I don't know. It's not. But you know what? I just gotta work with it. I gotta think positive, and I take it a day at a time. And when we get to that bridge, then I'll cross that bridge, and I'll just work with that. Yeah, does it bring me down? Of course it does. But that doesn't mean I gotta be negative toward everybody or toward myself. I just gotta keep moving along. It is what it is, people, and you got to, please, you got to get it into your head that if you want to be positive, it starts with you. Not me. It starts with you. Being positive starts with you. Never does with me. Because I can't make you positive. Only you can do that. I don't know.
Thank you for the lyric.
And if you're happy, then stay happy. And I know we're going to get sad. Who doesn't get sad? We all get sad. But like I said, there's things that we want to do, then go do them. But don't make excuses. I've made too many in my life already, too many excuses. But I stopped doing them many years ago. And I've had a better life for that. And you know what? It helps. It helps not making excuses for what's happened or what may happen. And it hasn't happened yet. Know what I mean? Okay, well, I'm going to take a quick break and I will be back. All right. I just
I
pause
just
it here.
read it.
Huh?
Just read it.
All right. Sorry about that. Oops. Sorry about that. Uh, well, it's there. You go. Let me.
Be careful with your thumb.
There you go. All right. Sorry about that. Ah.
It's the cord. Can you move the cord up a little?
Hold on. Let me. Sorry about that, people. My cord keeps getting caught. Okay, I got it. I think. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. Where were we? After scolding you out. No, but like I said, I mean, being positive is what we got to make it. Because if you don't, we're not gonna go anywhere. You know, we have so many things happening in this world today. I mean, just yesterday was it, or I think 36 people drowned in the Guadalupe River.
Yeah. So sad.
Some were children. Um, I don't know, man. I mean, things happen I don't know what the reason was. I can't say for a reason because I don't know what it was. It's just it sucks. And there's I just I just pray for the strength of their family and the people that lost loved ones because you know it's hard enough to lose a loved one when you know that they're sick and and but to lose a loved one just all of a sudden just like that water drowning thing. I mean it's just no. I don't know. Heaven. I Man, that's tough. I I would assume that's tough because I haven't been through that, so I don't I can't speak for them. I would just say prayers to their family that they get through this and the strength that I hope they have the strength to get through this because it's gotta be rough for them. I mean, if it's tough for us that we have feelings for them and we didn't even know them, can you imagine them? Uh, See, this is when we know that we're sad. We're not negative. We just know that we're sad for them, and that is tough. You know, yeah, you know, But as for me, I just like to tell people that that everybody has to just everybody has how do I say that? Everybody has their own demons that they have to deal with. Everybody has their burdens. We all have them. It doesn't matter. We have so many different types of things that are happening in our lives, and I understand that. It's it's how we deal with it that that makes our character come out, and I think that's the one thing that I don't know that we all have different things. I mean, some of our lives are. I mean, we're it's so different, right? We're so I guess you could say we're all made the same, flesh and bones and blood and all that other stuff, water and all that good stuff. But we all carry different crosses or different burdens, and we don't know what to. Sometimes we don't know
One
how to.
gun says, JoJo,
Oh,
JoJo, why are you awake? One gun.
hey, well, I can't sleep, brother. How are you doing, man? Why are you awake?
Yeah, so this week I'm a regular crew person. I'm not the killer. I'm just supposed to go around doing my duties.
And like I said, it's kind of tough, huh?
Man, I have been waking up every morning around this time for a damn week.
Damn, dude. And I haven't been able to sleep. Yeah, I've been. Hey, one gun. I got.
I didn't win. Did I lose?
I found out that I had
Oh,
they found
sorry.
I found a couple of growths on my right lung, man. So I'm gonna have surgery on the 16th of this month for my nose. I'm gonna have nose surgery, and then on the 18th I'll have a lung CAT scan. See what they're gonna do for that, or see if it's cancerous or not. So I'll find out. hopefully everything works out. But we'll we'll go. We'll go. We're gonna check it out. But they cleared me for me to have my uh, cardiologist cleared me for me to have uh, surgery on the 16th for my nose. Then after that, they're gonna wait about a month uh, before I get my CAT scan, if not sooner.
Wow.
But
You got this, JoJo.
yeah, I got it, brother. I got it. One day at a time, man. One day at a time.
I understand him.
Well, since you're up, you might as well go fishing.
My wife, we got him. Oh, gosh. Really make me
Yeah, I decided to do a late night cup of JoeJoe.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
It takes a lot more than medical shit to stop us saltwater boys.
Yeah, you ain't lying, brother. That's the truth. Yeah, it's fish on, man. Tight lines. They know it's gonna take that.
Word.
That is so true. After all this, a little fishing's gonna be. That's gonna be the main medicine. Yeah. Yeah, it's been, it's like I tell everybody, it's gonna be, you gotta stay positive. You gotta look at the next day. You gotta take it one day at a time. You gotta just go at it head on, and then just take it at a day at a time. We'll go from there. Yeah, but anyway, other than that, it's been pretty good, man. I've been tired, but not. I've been here at the house. I've been kind of chilled and just resting, taking my rest. I slept a little bit today, but I can only sleep so much during the daytime. And now I can't sleep, so I decided maybe I might as well do a cup of JoeJoe. I haven't done this in a while, so man, it's been a while since I've done cup of JoeJoe. I think I might get back to it, see what's going on, just to kind of talk to people and. If I do it, huh?
I know that feeling. I think I'm napping too long in the day.
Yeah, exactly right. But at the same time, your body's telling you to take a nap. So you gotta let your body rest, man. Sometimes we just gotta let our body rest and let it just let it
Dang.
do our thing, and that way we can get a little bit
Could someone tell me, please?
on the stronger side. Man, I've been on here for 3 hours already.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay, he said, yeah, but it's like that old saying, a body in motion stays in motion. A body at ease stays at ease.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, I found out that that's why I've been so tired a lot because of the lungs. Just can only take so much. Huh?
No, I was talking
But
about.
I've been doing so many things. I've been kind of like I've been I'm going outside. I go do some things, and I come back in, and it's just I just get so tired. I go out there, work in the yard for about a couple hours, 2 3 hours, and whoo man, and that's because I'm taking breaks in between, but still, and sometimes it's just like wow man, it felt like I've been out there 6 8 hours, but I'm not. I'm only out there for an hour and a half to 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours, and but I feel good. I take a shower and I kick back, and then man. But then, dude, I sleep for about 2 hours,
It wasn't Cristiano. It was Saltzman.
and then I'm up all night. But here I am.
Yeah, I don't know what the.
But it could be that I'm getting old.
Go breathe some of that Gulf air, man. That will rejuvenate you.
Hey, you ain't lying, man. I need some of that Gulf air. I need that. I need that vitamin C. I need that sea breeze.
See, I get it. See.
I need some of that sea breeze, that vitamin C breeze.
Nobody works their Saltzman at all.
Then he catch me some trout, some reds. Yeah, I had a buddy of mine call me a couple of nights ago. Said he was out there and he caught three. He caught three reds and three 19 to 21 inch trout, and he was out in about only about an hour. I said, "Damn!" It was at nighttime too. It was about 10:30 at night. He said he was all set to be out there all night, and he got out there by 10:30. By 11:30, 12, he was like, "Well, time to get in." I was
Self-employed.
like, "That's crazy, man." He limited out. I remember when it used to be five trout. Now it's just three.
Did you ask him why the hell he didn't come get you?
No, he had called me, but I had just gotten back from the VA, and it was one of those days. I'd been there all day long, man, and I wasn't up for it. I had been blood work. They had done all kinds of things that day, and I was like, nah, man, I wasn't in that mood to go anywhere.
Oh, let's see. Zero.
And I thought he was gonna stay out there all night, but he but I had another appointment the next day, so I didn't want to chance it. I think we had an 8 o'clock. I think we had an 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
I had an 8 o'clock for my vertigo appointment. So I thought, nah, I didn't want to chance it. If I'd have known he was gonna limit out in an hour, I would have gone. But I thought, nah, better not. Yeah, I can't wait to get back to fishing, man.
Said, bah, not in the mood. Since when does that matter when it comes to fishing?
I know, dude. I know what you mean, but when you have so many appointments back to back, the last 2 weeks, that's all I've been doing is having appointments, getting ready for my surgery, and then getting ready for all these tests for my lungs. Oh man, it's a pain in the ass.
Want to see this one? This one's pretty cool. No.
I just want this over with, get it out of the way so I can start fishing again. Last time I went, I did catch, what was it? Oh, I caught like 10 trout, but I mean, most of them, I obviously just catch and release. And then
Oh God. That
I kept two of them. Two of them were 20 inches.
was
The other ones were just, they were too small. But I kept two nice fatties, man. Two good size. I caught one red was 24. It's a good night.
man, it was going so slow.
I'm watching my wife play imposter.
I know they have it set so slow. I feel like I'm walking like
Why?
I don't
Why is it
know.
so slow?
Okay. Don't get caught. Don't get caught. Don't get caught. Oh, I'm trying to go, but I'm so slow. I killed.
Killed two of them.
This is a little easier because the jungle's weird. It's all over the place.
What's
Come on.
that? Wow. Is that another one?
That's another person, but floop. Oh shit! No, no. Okay, nobody saw. Nobody saw. Nobody saw. Nobody saw. Go, 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 go. He didn't see him dead. He didn't see him dead. I have no idea who did it. I have no idea who did it. Run.
They only saw you. They saw her kill somebody.
I killed 3 people then. Yellow. Oh,
Who?
they're saying yellow. Yellow was the last person. On. Yeah, yellow was the last person in there. They ran right by us and didn't even see the dead person to go fix their.
Oh
reactor.
my God, these people are more blind than I am. And that's because I can't see out of my one eye.
I know.
Oh well. Anyway. Alright, people. Well, I guess it's already going to be 3 a.m. in the morning here. Well, one gun knows it's 3 a.m. He's up at 3 a.m. in the morning. I know how that feels.
Dude. He said, "Yep."
Yep.
Dude, you can't do that. That's cheating.
What? What do you do?
Well, he said, "My brother's not an imposter. I saw his iPad." They all voted for me.
You saw his eye patch.
iPad. So they're playing next to each other, and he's seeing if he's an imposter or not. That's cheating. You're not supposed to do that. Because then he's vouching, saying, I see it." Well, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh yeah." You know what I mean? It's not fun.
Well, why didn't you say anything?
I'm going to a different team because I gotta type it, and I'm not gonna be fast enough. It's cool. I just leave and go to another one.
Oh, that's not right.
It's not. So that's why I leave.
Well, why did you say anything? That's cheating. You just said that.
But I know, babe. But I have to type it on the keyboard on there, bring it up screen, and then type it. By the
So?
time I type it and I finish and I push send, they've already did the vote. Like I didn't even. He literally said it and they voted. And I don't know why they voted for me because, well, I guess they probably all know each other. So
Did you get out?
yeah. Well, actually, they're gonna
My
end it,
wife,
so let me.
she got busted. Busted, never to be
Oh,
trusted.
is she playing Among Us? Yes.
Yeah, she's playing Among Us.
Playing Among Us.
She got busted, never to be trusted.
Never to be true.
Never, 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 never. All right, people. Well, I'm gonna call it the night. Hey, one gun. I'm gonna call it the night, my brother. It's good. I'm glad you came on for a little bit, man. I'm gonna. It's already been over 3 hours, and I'm gonna call it night time for me. I'm really glad you came on before I got off, man. I'm glad I got to talk to you. I hope you go fishing again.
Good night, brother.
Good night, brother. Love you, man. You take care of yourself until we go fishing. All right, people. Until later.
He said you too.
We just what?
You have to push the stop button.
This one right here?
Yeah.
Okay, people. Well, like I said, I appreciate everybody who came in and out. I appreciate it. One gun. Take care of yourself. Have a good night. Thank you for coming by. Everybody that came by, Rose, thank you for coming in. And everybody else that came in and lurked, I appreciate it. Like I said, this is my first one in a long time that I've been here. A couple of years, for a little over 2 years. Yeah, my sister's been 3 years since she passed, so it's been over 2 years that I've came here. And then I just want to say thank y'all for letting me vent about what's going on. But hey, just wanted to kind of vent out, let out everything that's going on. Once again, like I said, just keep me in your prayers. You know, I got a little bit of get a nose job now. I'm just gonna get nose surgery. They're gonna put a balloon in my nose so they can open up my sinuses. They're all this. She said is just boom. And then in August, I'll keep you updated on that too. It's gonna keep coming around. In August, I have a scan in my lung where they found two masses growing. I'll find out more about that as they go along. Uh, they can't say anything. He doesn't believe it's cancerous, but then again, he doesn't know. So we'll just go along as we'll just find out as we go along. Keep it positive, people. Keep me in your prayers, and as everything else, thank you for coming by. This is the Grumpy Papa JoeJoe. Love y'all, and thank y'all. And as always, until next time, and I will be back. I will be doing this again. It just took me a little bit to kind of get up to speed, and I'd been doing Animal Crossing, and I had been doing 76, and I had been doing Disney, and I want to do that, but this is something that I can do. I'm here in my bed, kick back. If I fall asleep, at least y'all can see me fall asleep on my bed. And but I'm just glad that I was able to say a few words and to talk about positive attitude, talk about business. I'll talk about everything else under the sun. Hopefully, it'll be during the day where I can get some of my regulars to come in. That way, hopefully, we'll be awake and everything. So, anyway, God bless. Love y'all. And until next time, this is Papa JoeJoe, the grumpy Papa JoeJoe. Peace. I'm out.